Hello guys, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto What If series. What if Naruto was forced to watch his sibling becomes legend, but became the one whose name would be remembered from eternity? If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comment. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. So let's start the story.
What? Screamed both Tsunade and Naruto as Fukasaku Jiji told them about the responsibilities of the last of the Rikudo Sennin line that Naruto had awakened during the final battle with Obito and Madara while absorbing 8 of the 9-tailed beasts into himself while keeping Kumara sealed within himself. That's right, Naruto boyo, this was set up a few hundred years ago between the current Mao's and Rikudo Sennin himself, when his blood was to awaken, if the ages were close, that a daughter of the Gremory would marry the last of his line. What we have yet to tell you is that after awakening his bloodline, after the absorption of all that chakra while being a sage, you are immortal. Both Naruto and Tsunade's jaws drop at that statement. Now the Gremory clan are from a different dimension. Their kind are by default immortal as well. A whole world that has several races of immortal beings. Rikudo Sennin knew that his line would have issues in this world as immortals and set this up. Naruto boyo, you really have no choice in this with how the treaties were set up between the two dimensions, though I do know quite a bit about your fiancé. Said Fukasaku Jiji. Wait, hold up now Fukasaku Jiji, so let me get this straight. I am now an immortal badass who has a prearranged marriage, you knew about all this, and you're just now dumping it on me? Oh, and let's not forget it's in an entirely new world. The fuck Fukasaku Jiji. Naruto could barely keep his cool. He understood prearranged marriages and such, but he just turned 17, won a war and now had all this laid on him. Well, sorry Naruto boyo, but we needed to check up on their situation first before we wanted to tell you about all this. It's been hundreds of years since the treaty was set up, there was no way to know if it could even be enacted. Now I have a picture I will show you in a moment, but let me tell you about her and a little of their world. She is your age, give or take a few months. Second oldest of the Gremory children, with the oldest being one of their race's 4 leaders. She currently is in another prearranged contract, but from what we found out it's not due to anyone wanting it other than the young man she is to wed, as it was set up before their birth and seems he turned out worse than that Teme you grew up with, kinda like him crossed with Jiraiya boyo. I love that kid but he had issues. That made Naruto grimace. Sasuke arrogance with Ero Sennin's perverseness was a horrid combination to marry as an immortal. Maybe he should listen better, and who knows, she might not be too bad. Noticing the look on Naruto's face, Fukasaku Jiji continued. Aha, it's that bad, but there is still time before it's enacted. We talked to Seer's ex Lucifer, formerly Seer's ex Gremory, who gave us this information, who is her brother. What they propose is you coming to them in the next few days and starting to get to know the young lady, and they will teach you more about their world. With the 2 competing contracts, it really would be up to you and the young women on what to do. If you decide to go through with it, you may have to fight him, but honestly. With that, Fukasaku Jiji just grinned to let him know what he thought. Oh, and here is some pictures of her. Now after looking at them, if you don't at least want to give this a chance, I will be calling into question if your balls survived the war, haha. With that, he tossed a photo to both Tsunade and Naruto. Hell, even with him being over 2,000 years old and a toad, he still wished he could be in Naruto's shoes. Tsunade had been quite after the first yell, trying to take in all the information that was being said. Immortal. Her godson was not only the last of the sage's line but immortal. She knew he had to go. After losing Dan and the others, she could not imagine outliving everyone hundreds of times over. Looking down at the picture of the women in question, even she got a little tint of a blush to her cheeks. Long red hair, a bust near her own size, porcelain skin and fit. Hell, she could be one of the most beautiful women she's ever seen. Yes, her godson just scored the jackpot. And he deserved it. Her guilt about not being there the first 12 years of his life was still something that ate her up almost daily. The horror he lived, though. If anyone deserved happiness, as was her godson. She would make sure he at least gave this young woman a chance, or she would beat some sense into him until he did. Naruto on the other hand did not blush at all. I mean, hell, one could not go through 3 years of Ero Sensei's training and not become almost immune to this kind of thing. 5 times a week at least was spent in brothels gathering information, and Ero Sensei always made sure to train him so he never got caught out by a kunoichi. So learning about the female body on how to please and how to be pleasured was part of his training. And even though he did not have often, he knew his way around females. Though this woman was easily one of if not the most beautiful women he had ever seen. Blue-green eyes, bright red hair, a rack that was just amazing. Her skin looking like the moon's reflection on a midsummer's lake. Hell, even he would have to question if his balls survived the war if he did not at least meet these people. He also knew that no matter what he had to go, outliving so many during the war had taken a huge toll on him. Sakura, Hinata, Kiba, Negi, Lee, Kakashi and others all lost in the war. He could not fathom outliving everyone else time and time again. Also, if he was to ever have the family and rebuild his clan like he promised his Tu-san and Ka-san, then he would have to go. The thought of outliving his wife and children ripped at his very soul. With a quick glance over to Ba-chan, with her nod he looked back to Fukusaku Gigi. Aha, I'll go and meet her at least. Hell, I have a feeling Ba-chan would beat me until I did if I refused. At this Tsunade chuckled, letting him know he was right. Besides, we don't have to talk about the other reasons such as rebuilding my clan and such. We can all figure out those issues I would have here as an immortal. The least I can do is head on over there and see what's what, right? When do we leave? Honestly, the sooner the better before I come to my senses and stay for Ba-chan's hat. Naruto says in a fake happy voice with tears starting to stream down his cheeks. Ba-chan was like the mother he never had. He knew she felt bad for not being there for him, and no matter how much he told her he did not fault her for his life, she still took it hard. Who knows, he thought, maybe he could have a kid soon so at least she got to spend some time with him or her before she passed. That would make her happy, he felt. Don't give me that yaw, brat. I still got quite a few years with this hat, thank you. And damn right I would beat you till you accepted. Least you're starting to think, knucklehead. Naruto, I give you one last mission from the leaf, and that is to live happy, and if you do decide to marry her, let me meet her once. With that I am taking you off the roster and putting you on an indefinite recon mission in case you ever want to come back for a bit. Now come here and give me one last hug. Tsunade was also crying a bit. She really did love Naruto as a son she never had and knew this was the only way he could be happy, but she hated to see him go. She thought now with the war over he would settle down and start raising a family. She could pass off the hat after he had his firstborn so she could spoil the tyke senseless. But it seems now that could not happen, so as happy as she was for Naruto she was still at a loss. Alright, sounds like a plan. Guess I will be ready in about 15 minutes. Ba-chan, I really don't feel like explaining this to the rest of them. Could you at least tell Yugo and Anko about this? They at least are owed an explanation. With that, Naruto jumped out the window to go seal his home to get ready for the move before Tsunade could say anything. He felt that after training with both Yugo and Anko that something might have happened between the three of them. Aha, they all had before, but at the time it was war, so nothing other than ever came of it. But had he stayed, he could see the three of them being married, but his immortality would change that and he could not face them himself to let them know. Well, time to get ready to go to his new world. Break ******. Rias could not believe it. She was utterly blown away by the news her brother brought to her yesterday. A marriage contract that was made almost 700 years ago between the Rikudo Sennin and House of Gremory had been invoked. From what she understood was the conditions for the contract were never thought to have been able to be cleared, as it would take the last of the Rikudo Sennin line to awaken his bloodline and claim his inheritance in this world. Legend said that there were two great primordial gods during the Great War era, Trihexa the 666 beast and the Jubi, the 10-tailed demon god who was made up of demonic energy made sentient. While God had sealed Trihexa, he was left utterly exhausted for decades, and Rikudo Sennin sealed the Jubi. Though God had sealed the 666 beast in its own void dimension, Rikudo Sennin sealed the Jubi into himself and left to yet another dimension. That act had set him and his descendants up as a top pillar house for all time if they ever came back, but it was more an honorary thing. As news came back after his death due to demonic power poisoning, he split the Jubi into 9 pieces. He knew he would die one day, as only one who was born with the Jubi or at least a fragment could live though the energy increase. Before he left, he and her brother the current Mao Lucifer set up a marriage contract, knowing any child of his line that had the Jubi and lived though it would be immortal and where he was going his child would be the only one. Her brother took no time pledge a daughter of his clan. That was 700 years ago and even her brother forgot about it. That was until a small toad came to him. When she first heard him call for her that day, she almost refused. She was pissed as hell he had not broken the contract with Rhos yet, even more so when he said he could not. But something in the back of her head told her to go that morning, and she was blown away by what he told her. Flashback. Read Tan, I have what may be the answer for our issues. You and I both know Rhos is an ass, and if I could break this stupid contract I would. But with how things are right now, with the old Mao faction starting to rise again and everything else, if I were to step in I could have a revolt amongst the old school hardline houses, which could lead to a rebellion. Hell, even his parents feel bad about this. Now that being said, this here is Fukusaku Gigi bringing news about a long-lost friend whose line has just been reawakened. I had a contract set up with him over 700 years ago, but never knew his line survived. Rias at that time held up her hand. Whose line? Who are we talking about, Onisama? Hopefully she thought it would not be too bad. I mean, whoever he was talking about just had to be better than Rhos, right? Oh well, you may have heard of the line, maybe not. With a big grin he said, the line of the Rikudo Sennin. He almost had to suppress a belly laugh at how his sister's jaw dropped and she almost face-faulted while standing still. He knew she knew the legend backwards and forwards, how she used to pretend she was Rikudo Sennin when she was younger like most children did when they were young. His legend was still alive to this day thanks to him and Seraphel. Had he not left he could have swore those two would have gotten hitched. To this day she had not found another. I will let Fukusaku Gigi tell us about him. I have not heard much. Soon as the basics were told to me I called you right away so he could tell us both at the same time. It was then that Rias looked over and saw what looked to be a 2-foot-tall toad sitting on a chair sipping tea. Ah, Rias Heim. Yes, I was just telling Sears X Dono about Naruto Boyo. If you don't mind I would like to show some, I guess you would call them memories, but it's quicker than just words. This way I can explain easier the situation on why Rikudo Sennin's line reactivated. With a nod from the two Gremories. Wait, Fukusaku Gigi, can I call my queen in here as well before you start? She would more than likely be the one to help the young man adjust if all goes well. With a quick nod he called his queen into the room. Graia, I am sure you have been listening to our conversation. I wanted you here for the memories as well. With that Fukusaku Gigi started showing them the memories of Naruto's life after his training trip with Jiraiya Boyo, the war and Naruto's skill in battle. His fight with Pain, parts of his training to become a sage, some of his clone training when he got over 5,000 clones which Fukusaku Gigi still could not believe, his battles with the cages and his union with the Kyuubi for the fight with Obito. Then at the end he showed how Naruto had to absorb the 8-tailed beasts, still housing Kyuubi. In all that he showed Naruto's drive to protect his precious people, his drive to never give up and some of his finer points, as well as a few pranks for good measure. Showed him cry over the graves of his fallen loves Hinata and Sakura and now at the end him standing on the Hokage's monument to show how he looked now. When the memories ended, he looked around, both Rias and Graia had tears in their eyes as well as quite a bit of awe, and Searsex had a faraway look in his eyes. Searsex was the first to speak up. Thank you Fukusaku Gigi for sharing that with us. Just seeing that I feel privileged to see the grandson of my best friend. His grandson has grown to be the same kind of man he was, though honestly quite a bit more powerful. I mean, damn, what the hell do you people put in the water over there? Were those really base humans? Meteors from the sky, firestorms, water walking, pure destruction on a grand scale, the fuck? I know he said he would have to put his power into the land, something called chakra, but holy hell. That being said, he turned to Rias, Tan, if he comes, and you both approve of one another, I approve. But understand that you will not be his only. Someone like that will have a few wives to help rebuild his house. The house of Rikudo will have to be reborn and become strong. But after seeing those memories and some of his skills I have no doubt he will make you happy if that's what you choose. Looking around and seeing Graia with a light blush on her face as well got him thinking he may have also solved his problem getting Graia someone in her life as well. Even though he and his wife go out to every function together, claim their marriage and denounce all the rumors all the time, there are still some that think his queen and him are an item. That and her devotion to him for saving her during the war has kept her off the market far too long. Maybe if all goes well he could trade out for a free queen piece. Who knows, but that is definitely something he should plan for some. It took Rias a few seconds for her mind to reboot and make sense of what her brother just said to her. Dear Lord, he was hot, was all she could think at the time. He looked to be around 6 foot, blonde with his hair to the middle of his shoulders and 2 bangs, one on either side. She could tell his body had no fat on it, the muscles were forged in combat, not like someone who worked out, but someone with lean powerful muscles. And in anything he wore during the memories he looked amazing in it. To think she could marry him and not Riser was a dream come true. Sharing was not an issue, she knew Riser made his peerage into a whorehouse anyway and had come to terms with it somewhat, besides after seeing his, what was it, shadow clones, it did not even seem sharing would be an issue. No, after seeing what seemed to amount to years of this man, she would do anything to replace Riser with him, that much was certain. Oni-sama, quite honesty, sharing has never been an issue with us devils, you know that. Of course the house of Rikudo would have to have multiple wives for the first few generations, and if he is anything like those memories portrayed him to be, I would be a fool not to get to know him at least. Is there any word when we would meet? With that she looked over at Fukusaku Gigi. Well young miss, it will be at least a few days. You see, I have yet to even tell him anything, hee. We did not even know if the house of Gremory still stood, let alone the situation. 5 days from now should be when we come. We will need you to summon him then. We will bring the marker later to help with the summon. And don't worry, I know Tsunade Heim will force him to come no matter what, so he will be here. Flashback end ********. In less than an hour she was to meet Naruto. She had shown Akano and Kaneko the memories, which of course had Akano asking when her turn with him was, though Kaneko said she wanted to see if he could teach her Senju. She had told Akano that if they got engaged then a few months after, when they had solidified enough, and told Kaneko that if they got engaged she would ask. Akano understood and was quite happy to wait, and Kaneko was also okay with waiting. Knock knock, come in, yelled Rias. Rias-sama, Sirzex-sama wanted me to inform you the summoning was ready and everyone was waiting for you to start, said the maid at the door. Okay, thank you, she replied, taking a few deep breaths before teleporting to the summoning chamber. Re-tan, so good of you to make it. Okay everyone, places. Re-tan and Graia stand next to me. The rest of ya guys stand behind me and try to look professional. Looking around, it seems like her brother had his entire peerage here as well as some of the maid staff. Giving herself one last look over to make sure she was ready, she stood by her brother waiting for the summon to be complete. As she was lost in thought, her body started to feel warm, like a blanket was being wrapped around her, giving her a slightly fuzzy feeling. Looking up, she saw smoke over the circle starting to disperse. In the center was that same 6-foot-tall blonde from the memories she saw, this time wearing the same battle garb he wore during that fight with that bastard Pain. It was a red cloak with black flame trim, a black skin-tight mesh muscle shirt with a pair of black semi-baggy pants and sandals. All in all, it almost made her mind shut down yet again. Dear Lord, I am going to marry that, was all she could think about again. Naruto was a little queasy after the interdimensional summon. As the smoke cleared, he started to take in his surroundings. Even if this was a non-hostile environment, old habits died hard. The first 3 people he saw was a man flanked by 2 females. The man was about as tall as he was with crimson red hair. That must be Sirzex. Then the person next to him must be his head maid, and the other one. Oh my god, is that her? That picture did not do her justice. Jiraiya-sensei, if you're looking down at me, I swear you better stop whatever it is you are writing, or so help me. Looking past them seemed to be some guards and some of the help staff. As he could feel no ill intent, though quite a bit of lust in the air, he relaxed his stance and gave a smile. Sirzex Lucifer Dono. Hello, I am Uzumaki Naruto, but please just call me Naruto, he said with a small bow. Nay Naruto, if it's like that, please just call me Sirzex. To my left is Graia Lukefuge and to my right is my sister Rias Gremory. Behind us is the rest of my peerage, which I will introduce later. Sirzex replied. Rias-san, hail from the elemental nations. It is my pleasure to be here and look forward to getting to know you over these coming times. He figured he may as well use some of that formal training Ba-chan drilled into him. He may be a fool, but he was not stupid. Thank you Naruto-san, but please call me Rias. And I too am looking forward to getting to know you as well. If he was going to be formal for this, Rias felt she should as well. Thank you Rias, please call me Naruto as well then. Now that we got all this stuffy formality out of the way, mind if we find a nice place to sit so we can all talk and get to know one another. Fukasaku Jiji said he showed some of the memories from my world. And I bet there was not even one that showed me in a formal setting, haha. So before I blow it, may as well find a place to chat, nay? Naruto said with a chuckle as he saw the others in the room laugh some as well. He could tell other than Rias and some of the wait staff, the rest were warriors like him, so they would understand. Haha, right this way Naruto, we can retire to the lounge. I already have our chefs making you some ramen so we can have a snack while we all talk. With the mention of ramen, Naruto's eyes lit up. If this was how it was going to be, hell he may never leave. Lead the way Searsex, lead the way. Naruto said. Asterisk asterisk break asterisk 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 asterisk. After a few bowls of ramen and small talk between Rias, Graia, Searsex and Naruto, all of them feeling out the other's, Searsex started with some of the serious talk. Naruto, you have no idea how good it is to see you. I don't know if Fukasaku Jiji told you, but your grandfather, Rikudo Sennin, was a very good friend of mine and I am very glad his line is back. From what I have seen you and he have a very similar personality. I know Fukasaku Jiji told you some of the situation over here, but I am going to give a bit more detail, and over the next few days we can give more. I have several tutors ready to help you catch up on knowledge you will need over here that you can use your clones for if what Fukasaku Jiji said is correct. Getting a quick nod from Naruto, he continued. If it were in my power none of this would be necessary, but you had to understand. After the Great War, the three factions faced extinction, our numbers were so low. We came up with a reincarnation system to help our numbers grow, but what we call pure blood devils were still facing extinction. So marriage contracts were the only way we could keep us going. Reincarnation really only makes someone a mixed species, so if a human becomes a devil they can though their actions become a high-class devil, but will always be base human, no matter how strong they become. Our traits such as the power of destruction would not pass on from such a union in most cases, and for a devil to become pregnant is quite difficult. Due to our immortality our birth rate is really low. Add to the mix if I were to break the arrangement between us and the Phoenix clan, which is a very well-respected clan other than their third son, it could cause a revolt amongst the old hardliners, which we can't afford right now with the tentative peace we have with the fallen angles in heaven. We still had 6 months or more and we're still looking at options, but honestly I don't think there were any to be had till you came along. Now my family and I have agreed it will be both your and Ria's choice on what to do. All we ask is you have an open mind. No matter what, you have a place here, as the house of Rikudo, your grandfather's house, will become active with you here now. You are a high-class devil entitled to your own peerage, but we will get to that over the next few days. The last thing is how our society is. Due to strong bloodlines such as yours being in danger of fading away, most high-class devils have multiple wives, heads of houses such as you are almost required to do so. That being said, if you were to marry Rias, she would be your main wife as well as someone who would have a say in any future wives. I just wanted the basics on the table before we started talking in depth. Searsex said. Wow, Naruto thought. That makes so much sense if I change a few words. Okay, honestly I can understand most of that. Let me recap so I know for sure. With a quick nod from Searsex, due to what in my world is bloodline limits, some families must marry others to keep the bloodline active for certain. Yours is a special top-tier bloodline and the contract was made before they were born with an honorable family, but the third son turned out to be an ass. But due to politics there is no easy way out without a lot of death. Due to my ancestor I am nobility, so will be required to rebuild my clan, and the current contract came about due to your friendship with my ancestor. It is mine and Rias's choice if we do this, and if we do she would be my main wife for a clan restoration. And you? Turning to Rias, who started blushing slightly under his gaze, file that for later. Seems like I know where this is going. Know all this, and are okay with it. I just need to make sure. Yes, Naruto-kun. Wow, Naruto thought. She is moving quick. I wonder what memories Fukasaku Jiji showed them, and how much of an ass this Riser guy is. I may have to humiliate him when we fight. I think a trout beating should do. That sums it up pretty quickly. Fukasaku Jiji showed us quite a few memories of your world, and quite honestly I would love to get to know you better to see if this will work. And I always knew that anyone I would marry would have a few wives. All I ask in that area is to be treated like a person whose option matters, and honestly that would be far more than I could ever hope with Riser, Rias said. Ouch, venom when she said his name speaks volumes about the jerk. Hee, Rias, no matter how this goes, that is a promise I can make. When we get a chance I will show you some memories of mine that has ingrained that female fury is really the only thing left in the cosmos that can kill me. Some of the smartest and most powerful people I know or knew were female. Only a fool ignores them and only a retard upsets them. When he said that, he felt that may have been the exact right thing to say. Both Sirzek and Graia were nodding their heads in agreement and approval, while Rias just smiled, her first real smile she wore since he met her. Seems she had been guarded, not that he blamed her. Seems this Riser is more of a than he thought. With a loud clap bringing attestation back to him, Sirzek said, "Well, great, now that's out of the way. Naruto, I have some tutors ready tomorrow so you can learn about the underworld and everything you need to know, as well as bringing you up to date on the human world as well. Rias attends school there, as it is vital in our family's option to know your way around both worlds." Getting a nod from the ninja who knew that knowledge of such things were vital to blend in and thrive in an environment. Tan has to go back in a week as summer break ends. In that time I would hope you can catch up and maybe agree to go with her and attend classes in the human world. One of the things devils do for survival is contracts with humans, not souls but wealth and favors for services. The best way to become great at this is to understand the human world inside and out, and why we feel it's vital to spend time up there for the young. By the way, I understand you still have a fragment of the Jubi still actively sealed in you? Aha, Kumura is still with me, the Kyubi. He is asleep right now. We talked after the battle where I absorbed the others, and he will be sleeping for a while longer until he can balance the energy. Right now I am at around 30% of my power. It will be a while till I am at 100%. He said it has to be a slow process so I don't explode from the rush of energy and succumb to chakra poisoning like the Rikudo Sennin did. To put that in perspective, you saw my fight where he and I merged with Obito. Well, that was me at around 25% of where my final power will be. Seeing their jaws drop at that information. Aha, I know, right? Well, anyway, give him a few months to wake up and I will let him out to talk. I can put him in a clone and let him out for a bit now. Oh, and as far as going to the human world, I am all for it. Not only can I get to know my possible future wife, and let's all be honest, I doubt there is another outcome. I may not know much about this Riser guy, or this world yet, or even about you guys, but I do know you have been nothing but honest with me, and I hope that is the final outcome. But any ninja worth his salt would go as information like that saves lives. Rias was so happy she could burst when he said that. Even knowing him for as little time as she did, she already knew he was 100 times better than Riser. His aura alone was warm and comforting, making her feel happy and protected was the only way she could word it. Now all she had to do is be herself, not lie to him, as it seemed he could detect that. Though honestly he was a sage, so feeling intent and lies should be easy for him. Good times seemed to be on the horizon. Break. Over the next week Naruto abused the shit out of his clones. Lucky for him, the months of learning Fuinjutsu taught him patience and composure. Otherwise, learning about the 72 pillars and devil customs while getting a crash course of years of human school would have driven him insane. After learning about a peerage and the evil pieces system, he sent a message to Ba-chan that he may have a way to confer his status, as he called it, to her Anko and Yugo, and to let them know that he would be coming in 3 months to talk to the three about it to see if they wanted to join him over here. After showing Rias more of his memories, such as the training trip, minus the whorehouses, and Anko and Yugo's training, as well as Ba-chan and some of his memories with her, she was in full agreement for him to add them to his peerage when he got his pieces later on. He thought she had a feeling about his relationship with his two trainers, but neither of them brought it up, Naruto leaving enough memories for her to guess it decently enough without showing them, and Rias realizing they more than likely would have been his wives had he stayed. Both felt now was not the time to bring that up anyway. Speaking of Rias, now that he spent a week with her, learning about her life, likes and dislikes and such, he could honestly say he was more than happy. She was what was called an otaku, but after watching some of this so-called anime he was quite astounded by it. Liking maybe not as much as her, but still liking it. That seemed to please her to no end as well. He guessed otakus were not well received for whatever reason. She was smart, beyond beautiful, funny and just all around someone who he could see spending the rest of his life with. Something he learned in the war was when you had something good in your life, you held onto it for dear life, and Rias seemed to be good for him and he felt to let it slip away would be the height of insanity. So here he was at dinner between him and Sirzeks on his last night in the castle before they went topside. It was a Friday night, they wanted to have the entire weekend before Monday to set up the house and everything. He had confirmed with him yesterday that they had land bought near the school where he could unseal his mansion. It was funny when he asked Naruto what kind of home he wanted him to buy him. When Naruto said just 10 acres of land, Sirzeks looked at him funny. That's when Naruto told him he sealed his family's mansion up from his old dimension. After showing him some storage seals, Sirzeks thought it was amazing and promptly bought the land with the condition that he got to watch it happen, which Naruto quickly agreed to. After Sirzeks poured himself a drink, he passed it to Naruto, which took it and poured himself a drink himself. When Sirzeks raised his eyebrow at this, Naruto simply said, "Old enough to kill, old enough to fuck, old enough to drink, was my people's motto. If you can send a 12-year-old to war, you can send him to a bar." Sirzeks looked a bit green at that, but nodded anyway. He was right, if you were old enough to take a life, you were old enough to drink. So depressing shit aside, Naruto, how was your week and any decisions on if you were going to be calling me Oni-sama in the future? He knew it was going to happen, but wanted to have some kind of confirmation so he could get the rest set up. The week has been enlightening. I will tell you, if it was not for my clones I would be insane at this point with all that shit you had me learn. Seems I am not even done yet either. Could you spare someone to continue my education in the human world? When I was younger I never bothered to learn about politics and such, but seems that would be a death sentence here if I failed to know it backwards and forwards. And I think you have a snowball's chance in hell of me calling you Oni-sama, ya bastard, though brother or Oni-san I think is a given. Honestly, after spending a week with her I think I would be the stupidest person on this planet not to say yes. Funny, why, smart, I mean honestly. Something I learned tea in the war. He took another swig and refilled the glass. When I lost the girl I loved and the girl that loved me, when you have something good, you hold on for dear life and never let go. I can't say we love each other yet, but I don't see it taking much longer, and that's all I need to say yes. I could not and would not agree to a loveless marriage, especially one that will last forever, but I don't see how I could not fall for her, and I will do everything I can to make sure she feels the same way. How do you want to play this with the fired turkey though? Naruto replied, into his cup and conversation, to realize Rias was listening on the other side of the door in tears of happiness. He was right, they could not say they loved each other yet, but just as he said he could not help but fall for her, she felt the exact same way. Given a few more months she could not see how she could not fall in love with him. She knew Naruto always put on a brave face, but after all he lost it, she would make it her mission to make sure he was happy. Well, honestly I would like to keep you and your heritage on the down low for a while longer, at least till you have as much knowledge as needed to protect yourself politically. At least until you have your evil pieces and such. That would be smart, Naruto thought. No need to show my weakness to enemies. As far as someone to teach you, well, I thought about that too. I plan on sending Graia with you. Seeing a shocked look on the blonde shinobi's face, he continued. Naruto, I need to be honest with you, Graia and I are good friends, but with her as my queen over the past years, I feel I have stunted her as a person. She has taken on the role of head maid as well as my queen, been denied suitors due to myths about our relationship that we can't stamp out no matter how hard my wife her and I try. Also, don't take this the wrong way, but I think she has taken a liking to you. She may be a maid now, but back in the war, well, let's just say she earned the title, the strongest queen. She needs a man who is stronger than her to take care of her, but there are 3, maybe 4 other than you around, none on the market are compatible with her. If something does develop between the two of you, I want you to know it has my blessing even though you don't need it, and I plan on trading her to you when you get your pieces no matter what. Even if nothing comes of it between you two, she needs to spread her wings and break out of her shell. Naruto nodded, he could see what he was saying. To be honest, I have been focused on Rias this week, but I have noticed when she teaches my clones she does blush and her look does linger on me at times. I put it out of my head due to it not being the right time, as I wanted to focus to see if Rias and I were compatible, but after Rias and I solidify our relationship and if she approach me, I will not turn her away. I want to get to know her better before I promise anything, and Rias will have to agree. I kinda plan on letting Rias choose who becomes one of my wives. I only need to make sure I could love them, and they would work well with whoever we had at the time. Other than that, I figure Rias will have final say on all of them. I don't think I could handle dealing with all of that, plus as my first wife I feel it only fair that she has the right of refusal. I don't know how sister wives work over here, but that's how it was in my homeland and it worked. When your wife could possibly bury you under mountains or set fire to your junk with a few hand signs, systems were put in place to keep them happy, haha. If they work there they should work here too. Both Searsex and Naruto were laughing at the thought of their wives having the power to castrate them and the lengths they would go to keep them happy. As far as keeping me on the down low, that's fine. I can pretend to be some low class for a bit, maybe even stick to Rias like I am in her peerage, but we never claim that, let others assume it. I will not hide my relationship with her though, but I doubt that would get back to Riser in 3 months anyway, and even if it did I could whoop that flaming turkey today with no issues. Searsex gave him a quick nod. He would never assume Naruto to hide his feelings for his sister. Naruto, you sir have learned the first lesson to a happy marriage. Never do anything to piss your wife off enough to castrate you, haha. Welp, it's getting late and you have stuff to do in the morning. By the way, when are you meeting the rest of my sister's peerage? Searsex asked. Sunday I think, for dinner at my house. When do you think Graia will join us? Naruto asked back. Sunday lunchtime I guess, that way she can settle in before the rest show up. How does that sound? Searsex replied. Perfect, so noon on Sunday, I will have everything ready. Oh, and make sure she knows she is not a maid at my home. My seals take care of most of the cleaning and my clones do the rest. She will be there as an advisor and a teacher, not a servant. Naruto said. I will let you tell her. If I say it she will have some kind of excuse or fight ready. Best spring it on her. Well, I am off to bed. See you tomorrow, Naruto. Oh, and obligatory, you hurt my sister blah blah blah, I kill you, so on so forth, we understood? Searsex said in a semi-serious tone. Haha, you would have to get in line on that one. Don't worry, I won't do anything to hurt her intentionally, though I am pretty dense at times. With a quick chuckle Naruto got up to go to bed. Tomorrow was a new day after all. Break Sunday morning. URRRG. I swear I feel like trying to see if I can destroy the sun. Too early to wake up. Naruto mumbled as the sun peeked through his curtains to his room. As he went to roll over to go back to sleep, a weight on his chest stopped him. Looking down he saw the tuft of red hair that went with the weight. Shocked for a few seconds while his brain rebooted, he realized Rias was in his bed and naked. Trying to think back as to why that was and what happened last night. Flashback. Early Saturday morning, Rias, Searsex and Naruto gathered at his plot of land near the school which he was to attend in the next few days. Pulling out a scroll when they made it to the center of the land, he motioned the other two to step back. Stand there, that should be the garden in front of the house. I need to set up the seal matrix really quick, don't move or you might get hurt. With that he made 4 clones to go to the 4 corners of the sealed property. After they set up he unsealed his home. As the smoke cleared he said, Welcome to Casa del Uzumaki. Rias, you are going to love this with your hobby. Looking around, both their mouths agape, they saw what was quite possibility one of the most beautiful mansions they ever saw. A 2-story traditional style Japanese home. But the wood was of a deep red. All around them was a garden with plants and trees they had never seen arranged in such a way as to boggle the mind with beauty. All around them were statues of people they had seen in the memories of Fukusaku Jiji. A man with a mask over his face. A woman with short-cut hair holding her fist ready for action. Another woman with her hands spread out with long flowing hair. An elderly man with long spiky hair sitting atop a toad. Another elderly man with a staff at the ready, and several more. Rias almost cried at the sight. This was a graveyard of sorts. The people who he lost during the war he fought. Though each statue had a happy look on their face as if to say everything would be alright. A voice behind her startled her from her thoughts. None of them would be happy if I were to brood like Dugbit Teme. So I remember each of them during the happy times, and honor them with a place at my side for all eternity. Each of them taught me something important that I will never forget. Never be sad when you see them. Just know they gave their life protecting what they felt was worth protecting. Come on, let me show you some of the rest of the house. With that Naruto lead the two into his home. It was a large home, with at least 20 rooms each with an ensuite bathroom. A library that seemed to be larger than the house itself. When they asked about it, he just said his clan was known for their time-space jutsus and dimension expansion was quite easy with Seal, leaving the two devils again flabbergasted. At the end of the tour, Sirzek said he had to go, already spending more time than he had here. After he went, Rias pulled him aside. Naruto. Don't be mad, but I heard you and my brother talking last night. Rias was a little scared that he might take offense to her eavesdropping on his conversations. What she did not expect was him to start laughing at that. Don't laugh, Naruto, humph. She said, puffing out her cheeks. Nay, sorry Rias-chan. So you heard, huh? Well then, what do you think about what I said? I was going to talk to you tomorrow about it anyway. He asked, looking her directly in her eyes. Rias fought her blush down and answered. Honestly, it sounds wonderful. You're right, I can't say I love you after a week, but after this past week I can't see it not happening. You know, right now I live in our clubhouse at school. Would you mind if I moved into here? It would let us get to know one another faster, she asked. Sure, I don't mind, pick any room you want. It's getting late and I need some sleep. Pulling out an entire house is not what one would call easy. I'll see you in the morning, nay? Naruto said. Sure, in the morning. By the way, she got on her toes and gave him a quick kiss on the lips. Thanks, for being you. I feel so much better and it's all thanks to you. With a blush she left the room. Damn, not the first time I got a kiss, but for some reason that felt great. Maybe due to it being with someone I will be spending the rest of time with. Who knows? Yawn, time for bed, too much shit to do tomorrow. Asterisk flashback end asterisk asterisk. Rias-chan, not that I am complaining or anything, but is there a reason you're in my bed naked? First rule when waking up in bed with a naked hot chick is never assume you did anything wrong or blush. That only gives them power. Arrow Senin Proverb 3:17. Thank the sage he had me memorize those bloody proverbs or I might have blown this thought. Naruto. Too early Naruto-kun, let me sleep. Rias rolled over back onto Naruto's arm, hugging it into her valley. Again, if I ever come across Arrow Senin in some form, I really need to thank him for all that training. I see this Rias-chan, but I really would like to know what in the name of the sage is going on. So before I have to summon Ice Water, mind giving me a heads up? Naruto was really enjoying waking up to this, but he really needed to know the fuck was going on. Well, you did say pick any room in the house, and so I picked this one. What's the matter anyway? We are going to be married one day. Am I not good enough to sleep here? Damn it, Naruto thought, is that puppy look something that's taught to all women regardless of the world? I swear I need to find the creator of that technique and kill them. Nay Rias-chan, nothing like that. I just was not expecting it. Look, I don't mind or anything, but I can't have you sleeping naked in my bed, at least till our engagement is official. I may have an iron will, but honestly I don't think even I could survive this every night if you catch my drift. Now let's get up and get ready for the day. We have Graia coming at lunch and the rest of your peerage tonight, so we need to get ready. Also, I need to send some clones out to scout the town. With that, Naruto placed a kiss on top of Rias's forehead and got out of bed, not noticing Rias blushing up a storm at his statement about her nude in his bed. If all he was waiting for was an official announcement, she could wait. Not like he told her no. She watched her future husband get out of bed, for the first time seeing him without his cloths on, though he still had his boxers on. After realizing how cut his body was, she realized there were so many scars. Not realizing, she let out a gasp. Naruto suddenly realized she was looking at him for the first time without his cloths, and all his scars were showing. Looking back, almost scared she would not want him with his body so marred, he gazed back at her. I'm sorry Rias, I know it's not nice to look at, but this is what has come with my past. I can understand if you don't want to go though with this now. He tried to hide his pain in his voice, but failed. Rias immediately realized what was going through his head and rushed to him, holding him from behind, hugging him closely. Naruto, I knew from the day I heard about you that you have been fighting since you were young. No, I don't see these scars as bad in any way, but I hope you will tell me about them someday so I can know the stories behind them. She said just above a whisper as she traced a rather large scar over his heart, wondering what could cause something like that and how he lived through it. In fact, most of his scars should mark fatal injuries. She now more than ever wanted to know about his life. Chuckling a little and feeling much better about it, Naruto said, Nay, sure. Someday I will tell you about them, but we really need to get dressed. Not like I am not loving this, but seriously this can't keep going if I am to maintain control haha. Naruto said nervously, YHA he may be trained to deal with this, but even he had his limits when a smoking hot woman was hugging him in the buff in his own room. Rias realizing their position let out an eep, and ran out of the room to a laughing Naruto. Break asterisk. Graia was torn as she came up to her new residence. She knew her king was up to something, and she could guess what it was. What she was torn about was either to be happy at the situation or upset at his meddling. After her king let her know that Naruto accepted the contract with Rias, she was quite happy. Naruto was not only a warrior but a gentleman, strong yet kind with power on par with her king. Rias could honestly do no better and she was happy for her. She herself found Naruto alluring, his aura was one that beckoned people to him. Hence her current situation. She was now to come and complete his education and help him manage his future peerage and guide him through the first parts of underworld politics so he did not stumble for the first few years. She was told this was a long-term assignment, but she also felt like her king and his father and mother were playing matchmaker. Graia was somewhat upset by that, but she would not take it out on Naruto, and she felt she may as well go with the flow. Upon arriving at the home she took in its aesthetics and was quite pleased by them. It was a house fit for a noble if nothing else. The garden was something she looked forward to tending, but it might be a bit big for her to clean herself, so she may have to hire some more staff. As she knocked, the door was answered by Naruto. Ah, Graia-san, welcome. I'll let boss know you're here, follow me to the lounge. With that, the now identified clone created another clone that dispersed right away. She guessed this was how Naruto was informed. The clone skill of his was something that intrigued her to no end, and was hoping after the marriage she could get him to part with some of his skills. Also the fact if she ever did join him, she would not want for companionship, which was a huge plus in her books. Too many stories of high-class devils that could not take care of their wives were around, not something Graia would ever accept, and one of the main reasons she never found a suitor. As she followed the clone they came to a door that must have been the lounge. Ah, Graia-san, welcome to the Uzumaki clan's home. Did Searsex give you any information on why you're here? Naruto really hoped the bastard had told her what he asked. He was not looking forward to pushing his demands. Only that I was to help complete your education in regards to the underworld and help with the first few years of your house in politics and contracts so as for you not to get stuck in any unfavorable situations. I assume I will also take my roles as the head maid as well during this time. Graia said. Ah, the bastard really did not tell ya, okay. Most of that was right, though this is the first I am hearing about years, we can talk about that later. Due to my seals the house cleans itself for the most part, and my clones do what little is left over, so you will not be a servant in this home but a guest and a sensei to me. To be quite honest, I am looking forward to learning under you, as all my teachers to this point have either been perverts or extreme sadists. Just thinking about Anko's teaching lessons sent shivers down his spine to this day. Please allow yourself the time to relax and enjoy your time with us. It means more than you could ever know that I won't be thrown to the wolves on politics, and let's face it, years with that bastard could not have been easy on your mental health haha. She could see his reasoning. In the memories they saw they had seen some of the techniques his teachers had used in the past. His Jiraiya sensei could only be classified as a super pervert, and that Anko and Yugo both were harsh taskmasters though effective teachers. Maybe this could be seen as somewhat of a vacation from her king. The past few years had been trying on her. Thank you Naruto-sama, I think I will take you up on that offer. Graia said. Nay, don't ever call me that again please, Naruto, or if we have company that you must add honorifics just add san please. Otherwise I won't be able to relax around you, K. By the sage he hated honorifics. As you wish Naruto-san, she said in a monotone voice. Well, if that's the best I can get for now, oh well, Naruto thought. Searsex should have let you know as well that Rias and I have decided to go though with the contract. Though we are keeping my status on the down low until at least I get my evil pieces. And I have already picked out a pawn, knight and rook if they accept. Anko as my pawn, Yugo as my knight, and Ba-chan as a rook. You have seen all three of them, what do you think about that? Naruto asked. Graia had heard about the situation between them. But thinking on his three choices she replied, yes, Searsex-sama did inform me that Rias and you chose to go though with it. He also found out this morning she had moved into this house, though he was not surprised at all. As for those 3 choices, I don't think you could have made a better choice than those 3 to start with, though Tsunade Dono could do just as well as a bishop as healer support. But after seeing her strength, she would also do wonderful at Rook, so I cannot fault you for your choice. Just remember, even though this is far down the line, in most raiding games you yourself will be severely restricted. Some of your abilities are quite honestly terrifying. I doubt they will let you send out thousands of clones or send off Biju bombs, so make sure when making your peerage you think about that. May I ask why pawn for Anko? Naruto nodded. He figured he would be restricted in games, but he really did not care about that, and Ba-chan was a front-line fighter no matter what. Bishop would never suit her. Anko is one of the best stealth fighters I have ever known, and is used to deep infiltration missions. As a pawn can promote when they get to enemy territory, I figure she would own in that regard. Yugo being a knight is a given, but Ba-chan being a rook over a bishop is for an easy reason. Ba-chan is a front-line fighter, support at heart. Putting her in the back would never fly with her. Better to put long-range fighters in the bishop spot as Anko. Yugo, Ba-chan and myself all have the ability to heal though our chakra, which seems to be severely lacking in devils. Naruto said. Graia at that point understood why this peerage would be so powerful. Chakra, the ability to be many things at once, and with 4 healers on a team, including a master healer, was unheard of. They could fill the rest of the spots with massive damage people and still have tons of utility. And the 4 ninja was all 3 types, power, technique and wizard all rolled into one. Quite honestly, this had the potential to be the most powerful team ever, including the Moao teams. Yes, that will be quite a combination. Well, I look forward to your progress there. Where is Ojo-sama? Graia asked. She went to gather the rest of her peerage so we could meet. I have some clones cooking dinner now and I will have one give you a tour. Pick out any room on the 2nd floor as your own. Also later on I need to talk to you about what you know about publishing. I was left a book series by my godfather that I wish to see if I can republish here, if nothing else to honor his name. Naruto said. Of course Naruto-san, we can talk after school tomorrow, or I can talk with one of your clones about it during tomorrow's lesson while you are at school with Ojo-sama. Graia said in her monotone voice. She is always lacking in expressions. Might be fun to get her to react if she joins Rias and Iha. Naruto thought. Break ********. Naruto and Graia were sitting around the dining room table as the clones were serving dinner when a teleportation circle appeared showing Rias along with several other people. The first one he saw was a woman with long black hair tied with an orange ribbon. She was about as tall as Rias with a bust slightly larger than hers. After a quick look at her face, though he had a sweat drop, fuck me sideways, it's another Anko. This must be her Queen Akano. Hell, even their names are close, I am so screwed. Next to her was another girl, though this one was quite a bit smaller with white hair and empty eyes and an expressionless face. This must be Kaneko. Rias said something about her sister going insane from nature energy causing quite an issue in her early life. Well, I guess I will have to train her up, maybe let Fukusaku Gigi do it. Aha, that sounds like a plan. Next to them was a young man, blonde hair with blue eyes, standing slightly smaller than Rias and Akano. That must be Yuto, her knight. I heard he was trained by Sears's knight, maybe should have a spar with him later to see how he stacks up. Poor kid, heard he is dealing with fangirls at school. Maybe I should train him in stealth, no one should suffer fangirls. With that thought Naruto shivered. With that he got up to give a quick hug to Rias. Yo, welcome to my humble abode. I am Uzumaki Naruto, but please just call me Naruto. You already should know Graia, and dinner has just been served. Rias-chan. Naruto introduced himself. Thank you Naruto-kun. This here is my Queen Akano. My rook Kaneko and my knight Yuto. My bishop is still at the clubhouse due to some circumstances, you should meet him in a few months. I am also scoping out a pawn at the moment, though I am still observing him. Rias said. Ah, so this is the famous Naruto-kun. Bucha has been raving about him, Akano said as she got close to him giving him a close look. Damn, Rias hit the jackpot, hot, why and polite. She said he had a sense of humor as well, something about making it so the toilet paper in her brother's bathroom turned skin orange. YHA, I am so going to get in on this. Turning to Rias, she said. Su Bucha, when do I get my turn breaking in our recent edition? Oofoofoofoof. Naruto's sweat dropped. Yep, it's Anko alright. Best snip this in the bud now. Rias-chan, you should probably warn her who would be breaking in who, besides Akano. With that he disappeared in a yellow flash, only to instantly reappear behind her, forcing chakra into his breath as he spoke behind her, letting his breath hit the back of her neck. I doubt you could handle me the way you're thinking. With that he vanished in a yellow flash back to his seat. Man, he loved to abuse that ability. Now he could let use his chakra to put on the markers instead of his throwing daggers. Everyone was wide-eyed at what Naruto just did. Shit, that's the first time they saw me do that, oh well. Akino's eyes were like saucers. Damn it. My knees just went to jelly. Oh hell, I am so going to be part of this. I have no idea what he just did, but I want it again. Rias-chan, we need to talk later. Kaneko was just watching and gave a small bow. Hello, she said in a monotone voice. What's with the emotionless females in this world? Is it something in the water? Naruto thought. Yuto just shook his hand. Hello Naruto-senpai. I am glad you could make it to the new term. Hopefully we can get a chance to spar maybe? Sure Yuto, I was going to ask you the same thing. The best way to get to know someone is to trade blows with them, so maybe sometime next week after I get my house and training grounds set up. Hey, replied Naruto. Sure, sounds great senpai, said Yuto. Come sit and eat. I made you some ramen as well as some barbecue. I also have some cake for afterward in the chill box. Just ask one of my clones for anything to drink. We have water, tea, beer and some sake. Though I would stay away from the Mount Myoboku label if you have anything to do tomorrow. That stuff is strong. 3 cups laid out Beowulf, though honestly he was a lightweight. That got everyone's attention, as everyone there knew Beowulf and the fact he was anything but a lightweight, and they all filed that for later. Over the course of the dinner everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, even Naruto to a large extent. He was starting to feel at ease with these people he was to share his future wife with, as they were her team. It seemed the looks he got from Akano told him the talk later would have to do with him, though he figured he would let that play out how it would. Rias had already brought up the topic that she and her queen were kinda a package deal, so he was somewhat prepared for it, though Rias knew it was still up to him. It seemed Rias also knew about Graia's budding feelings for him too and accepted it, though if he had to guess nothing major would happen till he and she were official. He would have to clarify that later as to keep peace in the house. What shocked him was little Kaneko, who seemed to have a massive sweet tooth. After dinner when dessert was brought out he could have sworn she purred. The whole table stopped when she did and looked at her. She in turn blushed heavy and tried to hide her face but kept eating the cake. When he asked if she liked the dessert all she did was nod her head, so he promised he would make sure he made her sweets almost every day and said he would bring some tomorrow to school for her. All she said was thanks, but it had some of the first emotions he had heard or seen from her yet, so he guessed from the reactions of the table that it was super rare for her to show any. He promised himself to make sure he had sweets made for her every day. After dinner before everyone went home or to bed Akano said, "So Naruto-kun, where did you learn to cook? I'll be honest and say I am no slouch in the kitchen, but that was otherworldly, no pun intended. This may be the first time I have ate something better than my own cooking and I am not sure how to feel about that uf. She said, half covering her mouth as she laughed. Well Akano-chan, I have lived alone since age 4 and found if I want to eat well, I needed to learn to cook, and well, you see the fruits of a misspent youth right there, haha. Which was true. After he was booted from the orphanage he needed to learn to cook real quick, and after he learned about the shadow clone trick, well, he made sure to spend a few hundred clone hours on each recipe. If he was to eat he may as well eat well. Ah, so many hidden talents of the clan Uzumaki. Him, Bucha, if you ever get tired of him, send him my way uf. When she said that, Rias just puffed out her cheeks and glared at her queen. Well, good night all, you can either go home, or take one of the rooms on the second floor for the night, I don't care. Rias-chan, please sleep in your own room tonight, I need my sleep to get ready for tomorrow. With everyone's jaws on the ground and Rias blushing up a storm, Naruto flashed to his room while laughing and putting up seals, setting up his alarm for tomorrow. Break Rias-senpai, Bucha, Ojo-sama, everyone cried out when Naruto flashed away. Wait, it's not what it sounds like. When I moved in last night it was the first time in the house and I was not used to it, plus my sleep pillow was still back at the clubhouse, so I just kinda used Naruto as my sleep pillow. said Rias while blushing and looking away, finding the walls suddenly fascinating. The first one to speak up was Graia. Be that as it may, Ojo-sama, please make sure until it is official you do not cross any permanent boundary, understood? Yes, I am aware of that, Graia-san. I won't go past those until after it's official. Naruto-kun said the same thing to me this morning. Replied Rias. Ufufufu looks like Bucha is not pleased by that. Maybe I should step in to help keep Naruto-kun satisfied with his home life until then. Akeno said. In the background everyone heard Kaneko call her a pervert. Like hell you will, Akeno. Look, I know what you're thinking and I am guessing at Graia's thoughts too, but please wait till everything is official. Naruto-kun and I have talked about it and he has pretty much made it my choice who joins his harem. His only request is that they work well with everyone and it be someone who he could fall in love with and them fall in love with him, but he needs time to adjust. Both Akeno and Graia blushed a bit at that, though neither denied what she said, which was confirmation enough for Rias. All I ask is you get to know him over the next few months like I am. Also know later on his godmother and who were most likely his to-be wives from his old world will be joining us in a few months. All three will most likely be powerful enough to be high-class devils when they get reincarnated, though after seeing his memories they should get along fine with us. Hell, one of them, Akeno, is a slightly older version of you from what I have seen. So take it easy, and Akeno, be careful of your teasing of him. Even though he refuses to show all of his training with his teachers, I am pretty sure he will turn the tables on you every time, haha. I will see you all tomorrow at school. I am going to bed myself. With that everyone took their leave, leaving Graia and Rias to go to their separate rooms for the night. Break. Waking up to the alarm clock the next morning, Naruto moaned. He had been having another good dream about redheads and harems. He was still trying to figure out how his life turned out so well. Here he was in a world full of hot women wanting to be with him, not judging him for the demon he held but wanting to get to know him. It was a dream come true for the young Jinchuriki. His old world, he was either hated as a demon or worshipped as a hero. But no one really ever wanted to be with just Naruto, no one other than Ba-chan, Anko or Yugo. They knew him before the war and liked him for him. It was one of the reasons he felt he would marry them in the end over the contracts that came in just for him power or influence. Now he had Rias, who he was falling for more every day. Akeno, her queen, was so much like Anko they could be sisters, and he knew he could fall for her too, not to mention she was also smoking hot. Don't forget Graia. He was still unsure about her, but figured he had time to get to know her. That was the major issue between them, he felt, was lack of time together, and his clones would fix that over the next few weeks while she taught him. As he went to roll out of bed, he felt a somewhat familiar weight on his chest again. Cracking his eyes open, looking down, he saw a familiar tuft of red hair laying on him again. Damn it, she's going to drive me insane if she keeps doing this. Time to teach her a lesson, he chuckled inwardly. If she was going to drive him spare, then it was only fair to return the favor. With that in mind, he channeled some medical chakra to each of his 10 fingers and started rubbing her shoulders. Something he learned in his time with Ero Sennin was females with such large busts had very stiff shoulders, and with medical massage techniques, one could turn them to putty in one's hands, so to speak. Rias was having a good dream again about her future husband and her fighting alongside each other in the raiding games, winning time and time again when the dream turned erotic. She started moaning as she realized she was awake but feeling wonderful. Someone was rubbing her shoulders in a way that was divine. Cracking her eyes open, she saw Naruto staring at her as he massaged her shoulders. Good morning, Naruto-kun. That feels so good, keep it up. She could barely keep her eyes open to the feeling. Morning, sleepyhead. I thought I asked to sleep by myself last night. Someone needs to learn not to drive her future finance up a wall. Besides, two can play this game. Naruto said as he took his left hand and massaged down her spine, eliciting more moans from Rias. Damn, he is way too good at this, she thought, though she did not care at this point. As she was lost in the ministrations of Naruto, she felt something soft on her lips. Her eyes shooting open to see Naruto kissing her deeply, causing her lips to part in another moan. Using the moan as an opportunity, Naruto deepened his kiss, lightly licking the inside of her mouth, brushing her tongue. After a few seconds he pulled back. Okay, Rias-chan, time to get up and get ready for school. Can't be late on our first day now, can we? He said with a smirk. ARRG. Not fair Naruto-kun, you can do that. No 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 no, you started this now you have to finish it. Rias was beyond horny at that point, more so than ever in her life. How could he be so good she thought? This was just not fair, it was supposed to be her getting him flustered so he would love her, not the other way around. Sorry Rias-chan, I told you. I may have an iron will, but I can't have you testing me like this. This is punishment for coming to my bed naked again. Next time at least t-shirt and bottoms. We both know we can't have until it's official, and it can't be official for a few months yet. This is as hard on me as it is you, maybe harder no pun intended. It's been years since I went on such a dry rut but I will suffer though it just as you will, and there is no way I am moving past kissing till we have a date and that's final. Now come on, we have to take a shower before school. I have some clones making breakfast and lunch for us and the others. With that Naruto rolled out of bed to grab his school uniform as he went to take a shower leaving a very frustrated Rias behind. Rias followed him to the shower only to be stopped at the door by some kind of seal. Fine Naruto Baka, be that way, but so help me you will take me on a date next day off or I will rip your balls off you hear me. She yelled at him though the door as he laughed. Fine by me, just make sure if this is going to be a nightly thing you follow my rules until then, otherwise get used to feeling frustrated. I know I am frustrated too. Next week Sunday sound good? Naruto yelled back. You better or so help me ARRG. You had to tell me one day how you were so good at that. Dear Lord that felt amazing. I need to go shower myself, maybe a little longer than normal after that stunt you pulled too. I will get you back for this, I swear. She yelled back though the door, but without any signs of anger. She was insanely happy. Now she had a set date and a time frame where she could move to second or third base with him. She knew as well as he did that was out of the picture until Riser had been dealt with, but up to that point was fair game as far as she was concerned. She was a devil and by definition selfish, and anyone who could make her feel like that in moments made her want him even more. Oh she could not wait till Akano tried her game on him, and how he would turn the tables, she was already laughing at it. ARRG damn it. Now I have to rub one out before school. Damn Naruto Baka I swear I am going to get him back somehow. After the both of them showered and took care of other needs, they met in the hallway on the way to breakfast talking about random things, mostly where they may want to go on Sunday and such, classes they had together and other random things. Sitting down to breakfast they noticed Akano Kaneko and Graia were already there. Raising an eyebrow at the three Naruto said nothing and sat as well as a clone brought him and Rias some breakfast. So Akano-chan and Kaneko-chan, what brings you two to my humble abode this morning? If I had to guess this is going to be a daily thing? Said Naruto, but he already knew they were there for breakfast. Hell when he made his clones this morning it was to make enough for them plus Yuto but seems he did not come over. Kaneko looked up from pouring tons of syrup over her chocolate chip waffles and just said, tasty, thank you, and went back to eating with a dusting of red on her cheeks to Naruto's laughter. No worried Kaneko-chan, you're more than welcome at my table anytime. Hell I even made some dessert for you for your lunch. Oofufufufu, looks like Naruto-kun has tamed our quite rook already Bucha, but with cooking like his I guess it was only a matter of time. Thank you by the way Naruto-kun. I may just take you up on the daily aspect, hell with meals like this I may as well move in. Said Akano while laughing. Well as long as it's not my room, go ahead and pick one. The more the merrier I always say, besides you can help me keep your king under control. Said Naruto with a pointed glare at Rias who suddenly found a spot on the wall very interesting while blushing. When Akano started to say something Rias gave her a glare that said, later, and with a smile they both went back to eating. So Naruto-kun, looking forward to your first day in the human world at school? Asked Akano. Aha actually I really am. The only school I went to before this was the Shinobi Academy, which quite honestly was not a good experience for me. After a few years of war I'm kind of looking forward to a few years of peace before we get really started on the raiding games. I really am quite liking this system you all have here. Peace in general with some combat mixed in is great. Back in my world death is everywhere. The average age of someone in my profession is mid-20s. The fact you have set up mostly non-lethal combat stress reliefs is amazing. Also looking forward to pulling some pranks hehe. An entire world that does not know about me and my pranks just seems to be too good to pass up. I do house a legendary fox after all. So of course I need to be a little mischievous. Everyone at the table got a slightly apprehensive look. The last prank he pulled had to do with the Mao's personal bathroom. Toilet paper and Searsex screaming and running down the halls yelling about how his balls turned orange with pink hair frowning from random places around him. Naruto-kun, please nothing too much. Remember, the humans of this world don't know anything about the supernatural and we need to keep it that way. Plus the student council is made of a high-class devil's peerage as well. Sona is a good friend of mine and I really don't want her upset at me over you. Please, Rias said with her best puppy dog eyes. Geez, they need to make that a forbidden technique. It's okay Rias-chan, I will keep my pranks within the human ability, or close enough it won't cross that line. By the way, when do I get to meet this Sona and her peerage? Naruto asked. In a few weeks, as they run the school they're quite busy for the first few weeks to month after a new school year. We need to get going soon too if we want to be on time. Oni-sama made sure we are in the same classes, so that should help you too, knowing Akeno and myself. With a nod from Naruto as they all got out of their chairs to get their bags ready for school. Graia-san, I will leave 20 clones with you. Also one of them will talk about the books I have, which are I think 50 of them. Also we need to get you different cloths. Do you only have maid outfits? Naruto asked. For now Naruto-san, maybe I will have time next week, but seems I will be quite busy this week setting things up. Graia said. Okay, well I will take you shopping next week sometime, it's a date. With that he turned around and headed to school, knowing he would find out her reaction from the clones later. He knew her type, and they always needed a slight push to come out of their shell. This was something that would have to be over the next few weeks, small pushes here and there. As they neared the school, Rias took Naruto's right hand in hers and hugged his arm. When he looked over at her with a raised eyebrow she just smiled and gave him a wink. Not seeing anything wrong with it he just kept walking, standing a little straighter. That's when Akeno took his left hand and did the same. Akeno-chan, mind letting me know what you're doing? Naruto asked as they got closer to the school gates. Ufufufu, well since you are going to be publicly dating Bucha, I figured I would stoke the rumor mills some. You may not know this but Bucha and I are the great Oni-samas of the school, and to have the new boy coming in with both on his arm should lead to quite the rumors, don't you think? Uf. Besides, maybe not yet but we both know we are going to get to know each other. Really? Good, she emphasized each word as she pulled his arm into her breasts. You know what Akeno-chan, be that as it may, Rias and I are still getting to know one another. As long as Rias is fine with it I don't mind trying, but honestly give us some time. Nay? He said as a slight whisper into her neck as they passed the gates, his lips barely caressing her neck sending a shiver of pleasure down her spine. Damn you Naruto-kun, don't do that to me if you're not going to finish what you started, said Akeno, puffing out her cheeks to a shocked crowd in the schoolyard. I will see you and Bucha in class. You still need to see the office to get your paperwork, and I am sure Bucha will want to walk you. He'll let the teacher know to expect you too, she said as she retreated to Rias's laughter. Thank you Naruto-kun. Accepting her means a lot to me, as well as letting us get to know each other first better. Though please keep putting her back in her place like that, she always was too flirty and it's great to see someone put her on the defensive once in a while, said Rias as she got on her toes to place a chaste kiss on the blonde's lips. Come on, let's go to the office to get you the paperwork. I'll walk past the classroom to show you where it is before I have to head back, K. Laughing a bit at the expressions of the children around them, okay Rias-chan, I think I already know the way but I could never say no to a walk with you. By the way, you never told me how popular you were at school. Seems like I am breaking a lot of hearts right now. His sweat dropped as he heard 3 male students yelling about the great Oni-samas being deflowered and something about Opie. Seriously, is that normal in this world? He said as he watched a few girls beating the same 3 males with wooden swords. Rias just started laughing. Honestly no, those 3 are well, special, if you get my drift, the perverted trio. The one with somewhat spiky brown hair is actually the one I am thinking of making into my pawn. The fallen angles have started watching him, and as you know it's not ethical to approach someone who knows nothing about our world to reincarnate them. So unless he blunders and dies or the fallen angles kill him, I am in a holding pattern right now. It seems he has a powerful sacred gear, but we don't know which one at the moment, so Yuto is keeping an eye on him. The only major downside to him right now is his perversion, though he could honestly temper those to some extent. Worse comes to worse, though familiars, call girls are illusions, but there are ways if we can't temper him. Naruto nodded. It was the same back home, so he did not feel any moral outrage at things like that. Hell, most of his best friends were or are workers after the years he spent with Ero Sennin. True, as long as they are willing I would have no issues. Just as long as he does not keep slaves or forces himself on others, I can go along with it. But he touches you or those that are with me, and he will be in for a world of hurt. Was all Naruto said. Well, if it comes to that, just let me deal with it as I would be his king, not saying you can't be part of the punishment, but I have to hand it out, okay? This was one of the things Rias was nervous about. Naruto was not raised like they were, but he needed to know that her peerage was hers to discipline and raise. Not that she would not ask for help or anything, but it had to be her call. Oh, that I can understand. All I ask is if it affects me in some way, you either let me help choose the punishment or help administer the punishment if possible. The leader of the troops must be seen to have control. I 100% understand that. A peerage, no matter how you treat it, is in the end of the day a combat unit with the king as its leader. I just ask the same when my peerage gets off the ground, deal? Said Naruto. Thank you for understanding that, and I promise if it deals with you or you are affected, I will try to have you help choose or be part of the punishment, though I have final say in it, and of course same goes for your peerage. Still set on your first 3 members? Rias asked. Yep, you don't mind, do you? Naruto replied. No, and I understand the reasons for all 3 and I am okay with them. Just understand I am the alpha and we are all good, okay? Rias said. No worries, I will let them know before I reincarnate them. If there is an issue I won't, but honestly knowing them they should be okay with it. You have to realize how much I owe those 3, and I am not sure I could live with myself if I did not offer, you know. Said Naruto. I understand. This was sudden for all of us, though I still feel like I am getting the better part of the deal, hehe. Besides, they both look fun. Said Rias in all honesty. Those 2 knew him far better than she did, but she did not feel threatened at all. And having his godmother here made her feel good as well after he told her the story of how they met and her guilt since then. Also her dream of grandchildren being shattered by these events and how he would fix it if he could. Knowing the birth rate of devils, she could be dead easily before he was able to get any of them pregnant, and her power was top notch, so there was every reason to bring her as well. This is the classroom. I have to stop here. The office is 4 more doors down to the right. Just get your papers and come back, okay? With a quick kiss she went into the classroom. Rias sat down next to a Kano, waiting for Naruto to return. After a few moments the teacher announced they had a new student attending and a knock came on the door. As Naruto walked in, the whole class started to whisper about the hot new exchange student. Was he a delinquent or what? Where did he come from and that sort of thing. Hello, I am Naruto Uzumaki, but please call me Naruto. I just moved back to the country after some time in the States due to personal reasons. Please take care of me. He said with a slight bow. Thank you, Mr. Uzumaki. Anyone have questions? Asked the teacher. Yes, Kikuyu. He called on a girl that raised her hand. We all saw you kissing Rias senpai. What's your relationship with her? She asked while the rest of the class nodded in agreement. The girls looked at him in awe and the few boys with hatred. Well, Rias, do you mind if I tell them the truth? He and Rias expected this question and they figured best way to answer was a mostly truth. She gave her consent. Rias and I were childhood friends and our parents set up a marriage contract between us many years ago. Now that we are getting older, I came back from the States to get to know her better as we have been separated for the past few years. So sorry girls, I am off the market. Naruto said with a small laugh at the pandemonium this created, the squeals from the women and the shouts of indignation from the men. Where are you living then since you just came back to town? Asked a random person in the class. At the Uzumaki Estates, about a mile from here with Rias and our caretaker. Naruto laughed like hell on the inside at the chaos that created. He looked over at Akano-chan to see her smiling brightly. Seems she loves to stoke the rumor mills. All good times, good times. And that's how the week went by. During the day Naruto spent at school, then going home, while Rias and her peerage went to the Occult Research Club or ORC, which he would join after his first full week at school. He was still getting used to the human world, so he would explore after school before getting home. Graia kept teaching his clones, though the touches and random brushes as she taught them showed she was started to break out of her shell. After his clone showed her the collective works of his godfather, she said they were ready to publish that second, and there was a huge market for that kind of thing in both the human and devil worlds, so they figured on publishing one a month till all 50 were done under the name Jiraiya Uzumaki, in honor of Naruto's ties to his godfather. Naruto was still deciding if to keep up his works or not, but had a few years before he needed to decide. The first advance came just before the week ended, and was quite large if Naruto understood how money worked in this world. Seems like in a few months he would have all the cash he needed to live well. With a clan to rebuild, he could use all the cash he could get his hands on, though with his clones running contracts in a few months it seems like his worries will be for naught. He sent several clones to set up and research his date day on Sunday so he could take Rias on a good first date. Though it looks like that Eyes boy was also having a date that day with a fallen angle. Rias warned him what might happen, but she had her familiar following him just in case that day. When Sunday rolled around, both Rias and Naruto got ready for it. Naruto in a basic black long-sleeve muscle shirt and black pants and dress shoes. Though Rias went all out in a pure white sundress that fit her like a glove and black-heeled shoes and sun hat. She looked stunning, and Naruto made sure she knew how beautiful she was every chance he got, and how lucky he was she consented to be his date that day to a blushing Rias. After some shopping and a trip to an amusement park and arcade, the sun was setting as they strolled through a park. Rias, I know I have been saying this all day, but I truly am lucky to have you in my life. I think the easiest choice I have ever made is to stand beside you from now on. Naruto said as he brought her into his embrace, kissing the side of her neck, bringing a moan out of her. Naruto, even if there was no other reason, I would still be here with you, even had Riser not existed. I know we have only known each other for a short time, but I honestly can say I love you. Today has been perfect and I can't wait for the rest of our lives. Rias said back to him. Naruto stopped for a second when he heard that. In all his life he had never heard anyone say they loved him. Hinata said she cared for him, but that was as close as anyone had ever said. After a second his brain rebooted and he looked at her, taking in every aspect of the sight in front of him, trying to burn the image into his mind for all time. After a few seconds he lowered his lips to hers and kissed her deeply, forcing his tongue into her mouth lightly, licking her lips for entry. After a second of surprise she kissed him back, both tongues fighting for dominance over the other. After a few moments they both needed air and pulled back. Rias, I love you too, is all he said as he kissed her again. At that time the seal on Rias's hand went off. Fuck, not now. Looks like Issei got taken out by the fallen angle. Come with me please and see what's going on. We need to get this done with so we can continue. I swear I am gonna make him work hard for interrupting us like this. Rias said as she scowled. Naruto chuckled. No problem, Haim, let's go check up on him and we can continue where we left off. I still have some cake waiting for us at home, and I need a bath after today. Care to join me? Rias went red at that but nodded. Okay, let's go and get this over with. Come here Naruto, I will teleport us both at the same time. Akeno should meet us there. With that they both teleported to the site. Asterisk 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 break asterisk asterisk asterisk. Eyes, could you do something for me for our first date? Yama asked Eyes. Eyes could not believe his luck. Was he about to get his first kiss, his first feel of Opie? What? Could you die for me? Wait, what? What was that, Yama-chan? I don't think I heard you right. Asked Eyes. Could you die for me? And with that Yama transformed into her fallen angle form? During the transformation Eyes could swear he saw when the outfit swapped over and he was in a trance. Before he snapped out of it he took a light spear to his gut. Looking down and not realizing how screwed he was, and still in shock. Why Yama-chan? Why? Is all he could ask. Sorry Eyes, but orders are orders. You were cute with the date, it was perfect, though a little boring. If you have to blame someone, blame God for putting a sacred gear into your soul. Goodbye Eyes-kun. Better luck next cycle. Said Yama in a soft voice. Killing men was never an issue for her, but killing innocents always left a bad taste in her mouth. But orders were orders. With that she flew off as he lay there dying. It was then Rias, Akeno and Naruto showed up. I swear if this is how his timing is in the future I may kill him. Rias said, not at all amused at Aiza's timing. Akeno just started laughing. Era, did he interrupt the moment, Bucha? Asked Akeno. Akeno just gave him a look. Okay Naruto-kun. But remember the same can be said about me. I don't know how much longer I will be holding off myself. Akeno said in a semi-serious tone. Understood, we can talk about that over the next few days, but only if you make sure Rias and I get our time as well, okay? Replied Naruto. Era, so forward Naruto-kun, deal. We can talk about it later, now we have this cute little underclassman to take care of. Oh, he still is breathing. Bucha, are you going to reincarnate him? Akeno asked. Human, do you want to live? If so, I will require you to be my servant from now on for the rest of your life. Your desire to live summoned me, now answer while you have a chance. Rias said with heavy formality. The entire time Eyes was watching them while he bled out on the pavement. They must be servants too, he thought. Yes, he would be their servant, and live he could live. Yes, I want to live, I will be your servant. I am too young to die, I am even still a virgin. He said, no way in hell he would kick the bucket while he was still a virgin, no way in hell. He seems to need all 8 pawns, he must have a powerful sacred gear. I, Rias Gremory, call upon you dying human to become my pawn from now to the end of days, so mote me. As she said that 8 pawn pieces went into his chest as he passed out. Akeno, take him and heal him tonight, but place him in his room. I kind of want to watch him for a bit and make him think this is a dream to see what the Fallen are up to. Akeno pouted a bit. Wait, Rias, is it that type of healing I have heard of, naked body to body kind? Naruto asked. Yes, it's the only thing we have available. Why? Replied Rias. Oh hell no, Akeno can get near that creep. I will heal him or have my clones do it at my house. You can have Akeno or Yuto take him home afterward, but no way in hell is she going to rub her naked body all over this perv. Said Naruto. Ufufufufu, is Naruto-kun getting jealous maybe? Said Akeno. Look, we both know chances are in the next few months you and I will be sharing a bed now and then. No offense, I don't need the image of you with him when that happens. Sorry Rias, I know today is your time and I should be flogged for thinking of any other women today, but I have to say this. Rias sighed but could not fault him. They both made it clear where Akeno and Naruto would be in a few months, so she could 100% see where he was coming from. As if sensing what Rias was thinking, Naruto could see her issue. Really, he held back so much of his life, especially the first few years of it. He knew he could trust her, and they were now committed to this course of action. Maybe it was time to tell her more about him. Rias-chan, there is a lot to my life I have not told you. Most of it due to being really bad, especially the first 12 years. I will tell you everything over time, not because I don't trust you or anything, but some of my scars are from a very dark time in my life. You deserve to know about it all, but I don't want to share it all at once. It might break you, do you understand? Think of it this way, in Edo-era Japan, if a child was thought to be a demon, how would he have been treated? I will tell you the specifics about it, but thinking of it like that may give you a basic idea. He could see the gears turning in her head, then a shocked and outraged look on her face as she finally understood what he was saying. It got better as I proved I was not a demon fox, but it took time. As to why I am so good at this, well, short answer is my godfather was a spy master, and on our 3-year training trip he kept up with all of his contacts. In the elemental nations that meant whore houses and bathhouses and such. Even though I rarely partook in such activities, my godfather made sure I had anti-seduction training in case I ever fought a female ninja who used as a weapon, which while uncommon was used for high-value targets such as what I would become. He also made sure I knew how to use techniques via massages and other ways in infiltration missions. Even though I never had to use them for that, he made sure I knew how to use them. So I guess you could call me a trained ninja, haha. Naruto said. It took a few seconds for Rias to process that information. So let me get this straight, abused for the first 12 years of your life, which we will be talking about later. Then your godfather took you training, and part of that training included how to defend yourself from women trying to get in your pants if you did not want them, and how to give mind-blowing orgasms and massages. You do realize once this information gets out along with your clones, I will have to beat tons of females off with a stick, right? Oh, and I want a massage tomorrow. I need to see how well they work. It was all Rias could do to keep her laughter in. Also, with Akeno and Graia around, I think you may want to take them on a date when they are ready. After that, I think clones can do a lot of the work, but really the first date needs to be with the real you. Kaneko is also looking your way, but as you know, she is a rare breed of Neko, and their kind takes longer to mature, so she has to wait a few more years, but know that if she wants to, when she gets there, I am not going to say no. Wow, we just did all that and already talking about others. What's going on, Rias? Ready to get rid of me so soon? I'm hurt. Naruto said in mock pain as he grabbed his chest. Baka, you know why? Akeno already said she's going to talk with you. More than likely at breakfast tomorrow, and Graia and Kaneko will be there as well. It's better to lay the ground rules down first before confusion sets in. Oh, and when you are with them in the flesh, I want a clone. By the way, how much alike are they to you? Rias asked, scratching his head. Depends. If I give them a mission, when activating them they fulfill the mission to the best of their ability. But I can also overpower a clone, giving it more durability that short of a fatal strike they won't dispel, or use too much of their own chakra for about a day and give them free reign. Basically the only real difference is they would follow any verbal directives I give, and call me boss. Other than that they would be my exact copy as of when I made them, all knowledge and personality of that instant. So if I was fully awake and everything, they would be me almost 100%, and at the end I would get all the knowledge as if I was personally that clone. So let's say one of you goes shopping with clone A, one of you uses clone B for personal time, and one of you uses clone C to help with something else. When they dispelled, I would get all the memories as if I was in all four places at once, including feelings and such. Clones can have, but they cannot get anyone pregnant, and only if I overpower them, otherwise they might dispel during the act. Does that answer your question? Rias got a slight nosebleed at the thought of several clones with her at once, looking over at Naruto, who had a slightly raised eyebrow. Never mind, just thinking of something, was all she said, and he gave her a shrug. Okay, time to get out. You coming to bed with me tonight instead of sneaking in after I fall asleep? I really want to fall asleep holding you tonight. Just make sure t-shirt and bottoms or I will rile you up and leave you hanging. Naruto said. Yeah, I would like that, though on nights you have others in your bed I better get a clone. From now on I will fall asleep with you, got it? Rhys said with a slight threat in her tone. As you command, Benihime. Naruto replied. Crimson Princess, I like that. She said and kissed Naruto again. Thank you again. For what? Naruto asked. Just for being you, loving me and being there for me, was all she said as she got into her t-shirt and underwear. Climbing into bed next to him, he held her in his arms and she fell asleep. You never have to thank me for that, Benihime, was the last thing she heard before falling asleep in his arms. Waking up the next morning as the alarm clock went off, Naruto really thought about just calling in that day. He was far too comfortable laying in bed with his future fiancée. Looking down at the redhead in question, he could not help but feel a sense of completeness. Even though it was not the first time he was intimate with someone, being so with someone that was not for just one night seemed to be a completely different experience. Both he and Rias had talked about what to do with Akeno and Graia, and honestly he had no issues as long as Rias did not. Knowing what he did about both of them, he could easily fall for both of them, and it was not like there was a limited time frame with all of them being immortal. Though he did not want to move forward till the riser issue was dealt with, no need to complicate things further. Rias-chan, wake up. Time to get ready for school, Benihime. Naruto said as he started to shake his Crimson Princess. Naruto Baka, yawn, it's too early to wake up. Have Graia-san call us out, I'm too comfortable. Rias mumbled into his chest as she latched onto his arm. Sorry, no can do, especially since Graia-san is at our door giving you the evil eye for even saying it. Besides, didn't you resurrect a perverted little Kahai last night? You still have to deal with that mess. Naruto said as he started to get out of bed, looking towards Graia, who had a small blush on her face seeing him nearly nude. Besides, Graia looks like she's about to force the issue anyway. I think I may have forgotten to place a silencing ward on the bathroom last night now that I think about it. Graia's eyes narrowed and nodded. That would be correct, Naruto-san. I think you and Ojo-sama and I need to have a talk at breakfast so we all know the boundary of our living situation, don't you think? At her tone, Naruto winced a little. Nay, Graia, you really need to teach me how to put that kind of fear-inducing tone into what is by default a monotone voice. It would do wonders when I need to threaten someone without being overt. Naruto deadpanned back. No worries, by the way, I know about the magic in those damn contracts and would not overstep the bounds, but we can have that talk at breakfast if y'all want, nay? Graia had the decency to look slightly ashamed at that. She knew Naruto would not overstep the bounds that would alert Riser early, but she still had her responsibility to uphold. Thank you for addressing my concerns, and even though I know you two would not mean to, it is still something that falls under my preview to prevent. A quick conversation is all we need so I can make sure I do my duties. She responded. Naruto gave her a quick look, and then nodded. It was true that both he and Rias were young, so overstepping some bounds without thought could happen, and it was one reason Graia was sent was to be their caretaker in some sense so he could not fault her. It looked like she really had no issues with what happened last night but wanted to make sure the ground rules were set, a cover your ass type conversation. Sure, no worries, give me a few minutes so I can get Carrot Top out of bed and we will be down. My clones should already be making breakfast. Naruto said as he dodged a pillow from the irate redhead. Note to self, she does not like the name Carrot Top. Not cool, Naruto-kun. Want me to start calling you Goldilocks? Rias said as she puffed her cheeks out in annoyance. Nay, you win, though it should be prohibited for you to pout like that, it's way too cute. Now come one and get your Y-ass out of bed so we can get yelled at and make our way to school. I got plans today. Naruto said as he started getting dressed. Fine. I'll meet you downstairs in a few moments. Rias said as she made her way out his door, making sure to swing her hips a little more than needed. As they both made their way down to the dining room table, they saw Kano and Kaneko were there with Graia. Ohio everyone. Is this an everyday thing? If so, I can make sure I have breakfast ready for everyone in the mornings, the more the merrier. Naruto said. Good morning Bucha and Naruto-kun. Or should I call you the beast now uf. Akano quipped. Really Naruto-kun, have mercy on the rest of us staying with you and invest in some noise-suppressing material for the walls if that's going to be normal. Both Graia-san and I barely got any sleep last night. Yeah, yuck it up Akano-chan. Just remember who is cooking your food right now. Naruto said as a clone came by and laid some waffles in front of her, grinning like a fool. You never know when my hand might slip while cooking. Akano just looked at him with wide eyes as she paled a bit. Era Naruto-kun, you would not do such a horrid thing as ruin your wonderful food for something so petty, now would you? Akano asked, not too sure after several boys from school had to call out midweek last week after they cornered Naruto about his relationship with Rias, something to do with a super laxative. Nay, no need to worry about such things Akano-chan, it's not like you would incur the wrath of your cook now would you? Naruto started laughing as he saw the conflict raging in her head. Good morning Kaneko. Good morning Naruto-senpai. Please disregard Akano-senpai as she will no longer incur her cook's wrath. She said as she glared at the person who could ruin the sweets she was getting addicted to. Nay Kaneko-chan, don't worry, I won't take my wrath out on the innocent. So even if she does, it won't affect your bentos, said Naruto as he rubbed the top of her head, eliciting a small purr from the Neko. Turning to Graia, he said as a clone put a plate in front of her. Okay Graia-san, I know you have to set down some ground rules, so let me state what I see them as and you can take it up from there, okay? Getting a slight nod from Graia, he continued. No is a given till we have a full official understanding. No pregnancy till after the wedding, but anything up to that is fine. I have jutsus that will make it so no one can hear us when and if we do something. It was my fault for not using them last night, so I will take any issues you have for that oversight. We both know that right now we are just waiting on me having more information till I fight Riser. Which by the way I have about 6 ways to get around his abilities this second ready to go, and more when it happens for real. Also Akano and anyone else who wishes to join us, I ask them to wait until it is official before we have dates. I really want to focus on adapting to this reality and Rias right now and do not want to get spread too thin. Is there anything else you want to add? Because Rias and I will not sneak around like we are doing something wrong. Graia thought for a few moments. She knew when Naruto said he had ways of winning that second she could count on that, so that objection was gone. They would not have, which was the only thing that would set off the contract protections, so really they were unofficially engaged. Even the focusing on Rias and adapting were really good points. He had all but said he was open to both her and Akano, but only after everything with Riser was set in stone, which was very mature as well, nothing she could really object to. Okay Naruto-san and Ojo-sama, as long as you don't step over that last boundary, I really find no faults in anything you said and feel you're focusing on what you are shows the maturity for me to believe you won't step over in the heat of the moment. But please understand that my pride and reputation are riding on this, as I am currently your caretaker officially, even though I really am letting the both of you take care of yourselves. As hard as it is to admit Naruto-san, even though you're 17 in reality, which is how most see you. With your clones I could not really even begin to guess your mental age, so it would be rather hypocritical of me to be the caretaker of someone who could be mentally as old as I am. As she said that, she saw all 3 other girls come to the realization that with clones giving him his training and their memories, they were also adding to his mental age as well. You know what, Naruto-kun, she brings up a good point. I now realize why you always felt more mature than any other 17-year-old I ever knew. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but it now answers several of my questions. Said Rias. Nay, I never really thought about it either. Just don't go making fun of me for it, or some laxatives may slip Akeno-chan. Naruto said. He could just feel the Gigi jokes rolling around in Akeno's mind. Ufufufu, never crossed my mind, Naruto-kun. And no worries, I have waited this long, I have no issues waiting a few more months before we have any serious talks about joining you. It's only fair we get to know each other as friends before we move on. Akeno said in a rare moment of seriousness. Thank you, Akeno. I really feel strong about this, as I take "till death do us apart" very seriously. I refuse to have a fling, and the best relationships are built around good friendships, don't you agree, Graia-san? Naruto figured he still had a few months to push her to that point, so even though he did not want to rush it, it would take many small pushes before she was ready for anything. Quite, again, Naruto-san, it shows maturity beyond your years and a very good outlook for a happy life. Now it is getting late and time to go to classes. Graia said, though internally quite happy with Naruto's outlook on relationships, as they were almost exactly the same as hers. Make sure you leave some clones to study with me today as well. Sure, no problem. Graia-san, would you mind shopping and getting 4 massage tables from town today and setting them up in the Orc building? I will send a few clones with you to help move them. Also get some regular cloths, as I don't need any headmade rumors and jokes about me at school. Thanks to these 2 great Oni-samas, I already have to duck out from pretty much every male in the damn school. If it gets worse, I may have to kill one of them to make a point. He said to her. Graia nodded while blushing at the connotations of headmaid comment, thinking it may not be the worst position in the world when it came to Naruto. Making a few overpowered clones that hedged into random people. Grabbing his lunch, he said, "Okay everyone, let's head on out." As they neared school, they met up with Yuto. Passing off his lunch, he told them about what happened to Aiz last night. So as a recap, have your familiars keep track of him and report to me as soon as any fallen angle gets close to him. I hate to use him as bait, but we need to know what their plans are. Things are too volatile to go sticking our noses out too far. We can't afford another war right now, got it? Everyone but Naruto said, yes Bucha. Are we clear, Naruto-kun? Rias asked, not hearing him agree. Oh yes, that's fine, I just don't have any familiars to follow him with, hehe. Naruto replied, but he was lost in thought. Today would be the last day he could really prank the trio. Over the past week he set off tons of traps at their normal perv spots, much to the delight of the various girl clubs, most of whom named him the defender of their virtue. And most then tried to give him their virtue, go figure. Yen, for your thoughts? Rias asked while the rest of her peerage looked on. Wow, did not know my thoughts rated so low, Bennyheim. No, was just thinking of a final prank for the trio. Pretty soon, if when he joins I won't be able to prank all 3 like I have been, so kind of want to leave it on an epic mark, ya know? Everyone around him sweat dropped and shivered a little bit. The things this man could do with a rubber chicken. Maybe find a way to convince them to see the nurse about an STD that can only be contracted via goat fucking. Maybe set up a trap that dresses them in a chicken outfit and have them jump onto the volleyball court. No, I know what I want to do. Mwahahahaha. Everyone just wanted to run at that point. Just don't cause unrepairable trauma to my new pawn, please? Was all Rias could say to that. Unfounded terror of Trout too much? They all looked at him as if he grew an extra head. Trust me, the less you know the better. I want to test a part of what I have planned for Riser, not the worst part, but a small part of it. I'll focus more on the other 2 if it will make you happy, please. Naruto begged Rias. Fine, worse comes to worse, we can erase his memory of it. Trout? Really? Rias said. Aha, Trout. Something I plan on with Riser is by then end of it, anytime someone even says Trout he will piss his pants. But I am not sure part of the plan is even possible, and would like to know before I use it on Riser. Naruto said as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Know what, I really don't want to know. Knowing feels like going to the back of a good mystery book to see who did it. I think I just want to see for myself what you have waiting for him. Rias said with a smile. She truly loved Naruto, but some of his pranks and revenge stunts really made no sense till you saw the end result. I guess that's what happens when someone who is pretty much omnipotent get bored, they get creative. Oh, how much longer till Kurama wakes up? I have been wanting to meet him since we had that chat. Rias asked. Oh, about another month or so, give or take a week. He was pretty spent after my last battle. But what do you expect? I was solo fighting two people who could rip meteors from space to attack me with. Still can't believe I won that one. Naruto looked off into the distance as he remembered his fight with Obito and Miranda, only to be brought back with a flick to the forehead. Ouch, what was that for? Asked Naruto. No thinking about bad stuff when you have two pretty ladies hanging off your arms, or I will flick you again, K. Said Rias. She still saw him get that 1,000-yard stare now and then. After talking with her brother about it, he said a lot of war veterans came home with that look. The only thing that seemed to work is break their thought process and get them onto better thoughts. Deal, no bad thoughts when I have two pretty ladies on my arms. I can deal with that, Naruto said. Later that day, Naruto caught up with the perverted trio, knocking them out and bringing all three into his mindscape, which he repeatedly beat them with a trout for 3 days while looking like Jason from the horror movies with only a few seconds in real time passing. Afterwards, before they woke up, he dressed them in trout suits he got from a costume vendor the day before and sealed up. He knocked on the girls' kendo club room's door, letting them know he caught the trio peeping again and figured he would let them deal with it that time, as it was the 6th time he caught them. He told them even he could not fathom why they could not learn their lesson and guessed it would have to be beat harder into them, just not to kill them. The girls thanked him profusely and took the three into the locker room, hanging them up like pinatas. With a wave, Naruto said he would let them get back at it. They all waved him out before trying to break them out of the costumes. Point was, he could manifest and harm someone with a trout in his mindscape, so when it was time for Riser, he had plans. He had plans. After school, he walked with Rias and Akeno to the Orc building where Kaneko and Yuto were waiting by the door for them. Yo guys, how are ya this afternoon? Naruto asked. Fine senpai, Kaneko said. Great really, though what did you do to those three? I had to escort them to the nurse's office after the kendo club beat them silly, but they just kept crying about the trout. All the damage the kendo club did may as well been for nothing with how terrified of trout they were. Yuto asked. I ripped their minds out of their bodies, placed them in a pseudo-mindscape dimension where I beat them for 3 days with a trout before returning their minds to their bodies for what amounted to 5 seconds of real time. Dressed them up in trout Halloween costumes and handed them over to the kendo club, who strung them up like piñatas before beating them into a catatonic state. Nothing really that bad. Everyone just looked at him in horror. 3 days of getting beat by a trout only to have all that happen afterward, and it's not that bad. Senpai is scary, Kaneko said simply. No, senpai is fair. That was the 6th time I caught them peeping, and I have only had 6 days of classes. Even a gerbil could be trained by then. If that kid is coming here and I can't prank him without the clearance of his king, then I needed to make my mark now before I have to take it too far. Trust me, Kaneko-chan, I have dealt with people like him before, and the best thing to do is get them to have an irrational fear that can be used to control their instincts later. Naruto said. Oh, you're talking about your godfather, right, Naruto-kun? What was his fear? Rias asked. Knowing if anyone had ways of combating perverts, it was Naruto. It really was a wonder he did not turn into one himself. Oh, it was a simple hand sign. Naruto brought his hands together to where only his index fingers and thumbs were showing. It is the one hand sign for one of the most fearsome training techniques known to shinobi kind, 1,000 years of death. Don't ask, as I may need it to train that boy someday. My own sensei used it on me and I had nightmares for months. They all watched him shiver at the thought, and if the name was anything to go by, they really did not want to know. They all made it to the club room. Naruto thought it looked kinda cool, like a 30s horror movie set. Looking around, he saw Graia set up with 4 massage tables up against the wall. She was also dressed differently, and damn, she looked good. A short-sleeved turtleneck with a low V cut to the bosom in white and a pair of tight blue jeans and a pair of sandal high heels. Damn it, Rhos Sennin, if I find out you bribed Kami for the women in my life, I will find a way to repay you. That's it. When it's time, I will continue your legacy, Rhos Sennin, and keep Icha alive for all time. Ah, Naruto-san, sorry but it seems I cannot set all 4 tables up in the club room due to space. Graia said. She was kinda put out by that, now they would have to take turns. Not an issue, Rias, mind if I do something like what I have done to my library to your club room? It will be about 5 times larger? Won't take but a minute. Naruto asked. No please by all means, I think I speak for everyone, we would love to see this. Rias replied. Everyone nodded their heads. After seeing some of the things at Naruto's mansion they wanted to see how he did it themselves. Naruto nodded and made a few clones. They went to work painting the seals on the walls. A few moments later they puffed out of existence and Naruto channeled some chakra into the seals. The walls distorted, warping slightly, and a bright light exploded causing everyone to block their eyes and look away. When they looked back the room was almost as big as the gymnasium itself, just with a lower ceiling. Ah, much better, now we can stretch out up here. Naruto said as he looked back. Again he saw mouths agape at what he did. Come on guys, flashing, chains time space expansion, this is the easy shit. Need to get over what I do or we could be in a fight and you might stop at the wrong time. Yuto finally spoke up. Yes, I mean who would be shocked when someone has instant teleportation at faster than light travel, or breaks about 6 laws of physics at the drop of a hat. He said with playful sarcasm. Hey, not my fault I was born this awesome. Don't forget my chains which are strong enough to hold down a large fragment of a primordial god. But seriously, these are the baby skills. Well, not baby skills but the non-flashy ones. Trust me when I say you need to get over some of the things I can do. Maybe sometime soon I will have to share some memories with ya guys so you don't freeze in shock if I pull out the big guns, Naruto said. That may be a good idea at some point, but not today. Today I really want that massage you promised UFUFUFU. Akeno said. Right. With that Naruto popped 3 clones into existence and set up the tables. Okay you 4, shirts off and on the table. Keep your bras on, I will unhook them when I get to that point and put them back on before you sit back up for modesty's sakes. Sorry Yuto I don't do guys. Yuto chuckled. It's okay senpai. I can live without your magic fingers. Besides the rumors lately have been getting wild between us. No need to somehow make it worse, right? Naruto shivered. I know, the fuck is wrong with this world. I am engaged to one of the most beautiful women in the world, and they are making rumors that I am in a gay relationship with you. There is something in the water I tell you, something evil. Everyone laughed at that. The rumors had gotten bad as of late with some of the female students about those two, though it seems the boys were the ones spreading it originally. As he and Yuto were talking, the 4 others got on the tables he set up. Naruto and his clones stepped up. The real Naruto with Graia with the clones with the rest of them. All of them had a green hue around their hands. As Naruto worked their shoulders and backs, they started moaning, asking for more pressure in some places or less in others. As he worked his way down their backs he made sure to get permission before moving to their asses, letting them know it was the biggest muscle in the body but would not massage it until he had their permission, which all of them gave. As he worked down to their feet he took off their shoes, making sure to get their feet really well, the whole time keeping his medical chakra going, healing any minor muscle and tendon issues. By the end of it, he had taken a little more than an hour, and all 4 of them had an organism at least once. He had to assure them it was just due to the tension being released and nothing to be embarrassed about. Reclasping their bras and letting them get up at their own pace to put back on their shirts, he went and sat on the couch after making some tea waiting for them, quite proud of his work. As they came back all 4 had a small blush to their faces. Rias was the first to break the silence. Okay, I knew you would be good, but damn it Naruto, you better take responsibility for us after that. I don't think I will be able to give that up anytime soon. The other 3 nodded in agreement. Nay, we just had this conversation this morning. All 4 of them had the decency to blush, thinking back to his talk about waiting a few months and getting to know all of them better. If that was just a taste of his skills they all knew it would be worth the effort and wait. As they were thinking that the clones had put up the tables and poof ed out while the original walked over to Rias who was sitting on the couch. As he sat near her she laid her head on his shoulder and sighed contently. The sun was down, her peerage plus her brother's queen were just sipping tea while still getting over the wonderful massage they all had when her alarm went off again. I fucking swear I am starting to regret making him my pawn, he has the worst timing ever. Rias fummed. Shit, did the perv get into trouble already? Naruto asked. Yeah, seems that way. We had to go quick, seems he is combat with a fallen angel again. Come on before it's too late. I guess tomorrow we will explain everything. He seems to be a trouble magnet. You guys stay here, Naruto, and I can handle this. She said, giving them a knowing look that let them know she was removing Naruto to let them talk without either of them there as they phased out of the room. Yuto saw the look the girls were giving each other and did not miss the look Bucha gave them. Well, I guess I will head to Senpai's house and hang out on the first floor in case they have to bring in eyes. Talk to you later, he said as he phased out himself. One of the few things his master taught him outside of combat is never ever involve oneself in gossip in a room full of females, it never ends well. Words to live by if you ask him. As he left, Akano looked at the other two and broke the silence. If his only requirements are I wait a few months to let him settle in, allow him time to solidify with Bucha and accept the two wives he would have had in his old world who seem to have already won Bucha's approval, I know I can wait that long. He is noble, gentle, beyond strong and looks like a blonde Adonis, leaving out the fact Bucha told me he was trained as a ninja to help offset female assassins even though he never used it on missions and his clones, so I know I will never want for time with him, which is the one and only real worry I would have, and you could not have made a better husband if you tried. And don't look at me like that, Graia, we all see how you are sizing him up, and the only thing holding Kaneko-chan back is her age, as we all know Bucha would not deny her when she is ready. They say the best things come to those that wait, and I for one don't mind waiting if I get massages and little things like that until it's time. The whole time Kaneko was nodding her head in full agreement, blushing a little when she heard about not being denied and it only being due to her age and race, as why not sooner, which was fine with her. Graia took a second to think of what she wanted to say. Honestly, Akano-san, I agree with all of that. I still will take the time and get to know him. There is also the fact I feel like I am being set up by Lucifer-sama here, but that is not something I would take out on Naruto-san, as it would not be his fault. I also caught hints that I might be asked to be his queen when it is time, but I have not heard anything one way or the other, just a feeling. I will say I look forward to getting to know him no matter the outcome though, and you're right, with those clones we would never have a real want for his time and affection, which is also something to take into consideration. I wonder how they would work. She said that last part more to herself, not thinking of the UAL side of them, but the companionship side. Ufufufu, Bucha asked him the same thing a few days ago. The other two girls leaned in slightly, as this was something they really wanted to know. Come to find out they're an exact replica of him at that time, with only very minor differences, such as if he gives a mental command at creation they will focus on that command, and any other verbal commands. They will call him boss no matter what. Buuut, everything else is what he was at the time of creation. So if he was 100% awake and poured enough chakra into them, she says they could last for days and they could have as well, but could not get anyone pregnant. Oh, and he can make thousands of them. A little bit of blood started down all three females' noses at the thought of that. Yes, they would never want for companionship. Tsunade was staring at the shinobi she had assembled, so glad she had gotten the message from Naruto that there may be a way to still be with him, and the offer to her Akno and Yugo, though he did not add too much information, there was enough to get the gist of it, and she understood, not wanting to put it down in writing and glad he was coming home in a few months to talk to them about it. She had already pulled those two to the side and let them know not to freak out about what she was about to tell everyone, and they had a private meeting afterwards with a solution to what she was about to tell everyone. Both looked at her weird, as they had yet to be told about what was happening to Naruto, but figured something went pear-shaped on a mission he was on, but if she had a solution they would take everything said as a lie until the after meeting. In front of her was the remaining members of the Rookie 9 and 1010. The war had taken a toll on them. Team 7 was no longer here. Team 8 was just Kiba and Shiro, with Kurenai dying in the last days with Hinata. Team 9 lost both its male members, Neji early on and Lee when he opened all 8 gates when fighting Obito in a stalling tactic, while Naruto made his way, saving countless lives with that act, and 1010 had yet to recover. Team 10 was the least hit, all 3 members still alive but changed forever after losing both their sensei and his wife. Only the fact that Asuma and Kurenai's child was still around kept their sanity. Kakashi looked lost but was keeping it together due to practice. As they filed into the room, the last closing the door, Tsunade put up his most potent security seals. Okay everyone, what is about to talked about is a SS class secret. Those in this room are the only ones to ever know about it, and the current Hokage, and that's it. No council, no clan heads, no one. Is that understood? Everyone in the room, seeing how serious she was, stood straight and saluted in acknowledgement. Everything I am about to say is true. It will not be the whole story, but will be true no matter how hard it is to believe or understand. But it has to do with Naruto, so I guess that will make it easier. She stopped as everyone, including her, chuckled. Naruto had a reputation of making impossible things normal. A little over 2 weeks ago, the Toad Sages came to us and explained a few issues that cropped up with Naruto becoming the new Jubi along with his bloodline. Come to find out, he was the last heir of the Rikudo Sennin, and becoming a sage plus the new container of the 10 tails after being it for the 9 tails has left him immortal. She took a second to let that sink in for everyone, giving a knowing look at the two females looking ready to cry as they realized what that meant. Now for the truly unbelievable part of the tale. That got some weird looks, like immortality was not weird. Rikudo Sennin was not from this world, but a parallel dimension. He came from his world after a war that had many people like him, though he was one of the leaders and one of the strongest. They had a truce while 2 beings like the Jubi were let loose in their war. He contained one while a rival faction leader did the same to the other, sending them to different planes of existence afterwards, with the leaders giving their lives to contain the threats. Peace talks broke out and a tentative peace has reigned over them since. Long story short, they are all immortal beings we could liken to demigods. Before Rikudo Sennin left, he set up a pact with his brother in arms, the current leader of their faction, that if he had an heir who gained immortality he would be brought back, and if there was a female of the Gremory clan that met age requirements they would wed. This was a binding contract based on their version of chakra, which is more potent. Naruto has been in that dimension for the past few of our weeks. Though time seems to move differently, there's so no telling how long it's been for him. He is on permanent recon duty on the books, so he can always come home, but in all intents and reasons you all may never see him again. She watched her shinobi, who were taught never to cry even at the death of a loved one, get misty-eyed for their friend. Shikamaru was the first to regain his composure. Tsunade-sama, may I request a letter sent to him? I wish to let him know there has never been a better friend, and I will miss watching the clouds with him. To know we all will miss him, and let him know we wish him the best. Knowing that knucklehead, he will feel bad when the reality of immortality hits him in a few years. The rest were nodding with him on that. I have a meeting with the Toads in a few months, have it ready by then. Akno and Yugo, wait here for a few afterwards please. The rest took that as a dismissal and left, knowing those 3 would take it the hardest. Everyone there knew the relationship between those 4. Okay, now that they are gone, I have something to tell you too, which is even more secret than what I told the rest. There may be a way for all 3 of us to go with him. That got a gasp from both Akno and Yugo. I do not have all the information, as he refused to write it all down, which was the right move. Can you imagine information like that getting out? It seems his line on that side needs to be repopulated, and he will need to have multiple wives there as well. Seeing the 2 blush was like a healing wave to the aged Hokage, knowing she may still get to see grandchildren. It seems every person of his station is given a few items to last them for all eternity, but with these items they grant the person the same lifespan and some of the same abilities, and he has one for the 3 of us. Now he put some ground rules in his message, and we'll talk more about it when we go meet him at Mount Myoboku in the next few months. 1 is never to speak of it outside of a secure zone. 2 is we will have to leave to go to that world. 3 is, from my understanding, is that this was made to be like a vassal system, so we would technically become his subordinates but would have us act like always. And 4th is this Rias Gremory will be his primary wife, though they are going off our system and she has already approved. But he wants to give you 2 the chance to accept or deny him. I will be passing off the Hokage title in a few weeks and putting both of you on medical leave until after the meeting to make sure you both are ready on a moment's notice. Any questions? Tsunade asked with a smile at the gob-smacked look on both their faces. Akno was the first to get her wits back and just started laughing. So the Gaki becomes immortal, then a noble in 2 different worlds, and still cares enough to offer the same to us? Oh, and I get to leave this shitty town at the same time, so I don't have to deal to my old pedo master's stigma, and all I have to do is allow him to make me immortal as well. Well, hot damn, that's a tough choice, haha. Both of the other women could hear the sarcasm in the last bit. Hell yeah, I don't even need to think about it. Naruto would never steer us wrong or hurt us unknowingly, so whatever this vassal thing entails really does not matter to me anyway. Yugo was just nodding her head in agreement, she felt the same way. Same here, he would never hurt us like that, and honestly both of us were waiting till we saw him next anyway to lay claim, shall they say. Not being primary is fine, both Anko and I have seen what he can do with those clones of his. As she said this, both of them got a small grin and a 1,000-mile stare for a few seconds. So I see no reason to say no and every reason to say yes. I have enough savings to get me though till then anyway. Neither of you need to use your savings. Naruto left both of you enough money to live like queens until he meets you both. Hell, the amount he left could let you live your life and never work again. I guess he wanted to make sure you made your choice for the right reasons, the noble get. Tsunade said. That's so like him. We'll put it in our account and I guess we have to leave a will as I doubt that money will transfer with us. I guess leaving it to the survivors of the Rookie 9 and Kurenai's kid is what I am going to do with it. Akno said with Yugo nodding with her. Okay then, I will call you if I have any more information. Dismissed. As Rias and Naruto flashed back into the entranceway with eyes in tow being dragged to a room for an emergency heal. Rias was still trying to catch her breath from laughing so hard. Hearing them return, Yuto and Graia came running thinking something bad happened. And Naruto, really did you have to call him Donut Man while giving him a rainbow afro and pink wings? This was supposedly going to be a serious meeting between the two factions and I was laughing in his face. Though it was funny as hell. Rias said as she caught her breath. Hey, in my defense, he was way too serious, and who calls themselves Dosek or whatever while wearing a fedora hat. That clown needed a rainbow afro and pink wings. Also his underwear will randomly change to a pink satin thong, but I doubt he will tell anyone. The beauty of seals, Naruto replied. He then saw both Yuto and Graia looking at him like he had grown a second head. What? I reserve the right when finding some weak bloodthirsty schmuck to prank him silly. From my understanding he did nothing I could kill him for, but pranking has no laws for or against it, so that is what I am left with. Rias, would you mind calling the rest of the gang here? I have something to discuss with them and you if you don't mind. I was going to wait longer, but with fallen angels seeking fights I would feel better the sooner it happens. Sure, but you might want to make something for us to snack on while we wait. Though I wish you would tell me about these talks ahead of time in the future. Rias replied. Hi, sorry, and I was going to talk to you tomorrow first thing, but tonight pushed it up sooner. It's a safety measure that is available to me and mine and has to do with seals, but after Afro Man tonight I will sleep better the sooner this is taken care of. I may not have known all of you long, but all your safety is important to me. Naruto said, looking down a little. Rias walked up to him after giving a quick telepathic call to Akano and Kaneko and kissed him deeply. Never apologize for keeping us safe, ever, okay? Naruto just nodded back while his brain rebooted. As everyone gathered in the lounge, several cakes and tea were brought to everyone. Hey guys, sorry to disturb your night, but I needed to talk to you as we now have hostiles in the area. We all know there are fallen angels in town, and now they have attacked a devil, though they claim it was a stray. Peeved if Donut Man really believed that I will eat my house slippers. Now you all have seen me flash around, what you don't know is how, right? Getting a nod from the room he continued. I use marker seals. I used to have them on throwing weapons and use them as beacons, but that is no longer needed as I can just use a chakra projection seal that is invisible and will stay as long as I want. What I would like to do now that I have provoked them is to place one on each of you. It will not hurt and will only inform me if a marked enemy gets near you as to your location unless you send a call out for me. I marked Donut Man today with such an enemy mark, so I would be able to feel any of you if he got within 100 meters of you and would be there in a second. Rias, knowing about the mark, was kicking herself for not thinking of it sooner. Naruto, they will take the mark. I have seen some of how it was used in your old world, and while not really useful to use in the same peerage due to our ability to do the same, for someone outside a peerage that route would be closed. I am kinda surprised you don't have one on me yet. She looked at him as he turned his head slightly and realized she must have one already. I see, I have had one for a while, haven't I? Since before we came back up here. I had no idea what was in store and we had already decided to give us a go. As of that moment you had a tag on you, as I said they can't be seen, but it gave me some peace of mind. Also myself, and I am sure the people who chose to join me from my old world would love to train you and your peerage when it comes time. Our methods may be extreme, but they get results. I know you plan to go into raiding games in a few years, as do I, so it may be beneficial to do so sooner than later, especially with your new pawn. He just screams fresh meat. Naruto said. Sure, that makes sense. Give him a few days though. Tomorrow I will have Yuto bring him to the orc to give him an explanation, and after that I will go over contracts more in depth with you if you would like. Rias said. Ojo-sama, that won't be necessary as much as you would think. I had an advert set into his godfather's books, so anyone who would take one of the flyers would be able to see it. I figured it had potential, though they will not activate until he is ready with a few of his peerage in a few months, as the book sales are doing far better than expected. The devil version is being rushed into production as well, though will not ship until the issue with Riser is done to avoid bringing unwanted attestation. I have no doubt those books will bring in a vast amount of wealth by themselves, but as an added contract supplier they may be the most profitable series ever created. Graia said as everyone looked at her in shock, including Naruto. That's great, Graia-san, and thank you for making it not activate the adverts for a while. Between my seed money and the money coming from the sales, I am more than comfortable right now without the added stress of contracts. I am still worried about how Ba-chan and the rest are taking this, and even though Riser is a non-issue, I want sleep well until he is taken care of and add those fallen angels in school. It was getting to be a bit much. Well, I don't know about you all, but I am tired and will see you guys in the morning. He leaned over and kissed Rias quickly on the lips. See you in bed, Rias. He said as he flashed to his room to get ready for bed. Good night all, as normal you can take a guest room or go home. Though Akano, would you mind taking our guest back to his house? Naruto said something about taking one of his clones with you so he can hedge into something, and let him know Yuto will pick him up tomorrow afternoon. Now that I think about it, he did not say how he would let him know, better not to ask. I am beginning to love that man, but some of his ideas are quite strange, said Rias. Okay Bucha, and you're right. But if my life consisted of war and training to become an assassin, I would also be trying to find fun wherever I could as well. Besides, some of his ideas have made me laugh for days, and don't think we forgot what he did to that fallen angel. I want the memory of that one ufufufufu. Akano said.
That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, share and do comments.